Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Hope we're all doing well. It's a nice, warm Saturday afternoon. Just checking that we're all doing great. Welcome to the YP Forum for 2021 with the theme titled Creating Your Own Opportunities in the Energy Industry. Before we go on, just to provide us with some meeting etiquette. So basically, we will have our microphones on mute, please, if we're not speaking. The only people that have been enabled, speaking rights basically are our speakers. However, I would like to keep this session as engaging as possible. So please, if you have any questions for in the course of the session, please use the chat box. I will be looking at the chat box to see your comments and any questions that you may have. Alternatively, if you would like to speak as well, if we do have time to accommodate that, please, you can also use the raise your hand feature and we will attend to you. Let's please be attentive. We have gathered a pool of resource persons here to speak with us. I think we have over 80 years of experience, combined experience in the room. So let's be attentive, listen, and take something away from this session. Just to remind us of the current times that we are in. So the pandemic is still with us, basically. So just to remind us to employ all the restrictions and social distancing measures. Let's keep washing our hands frequently, and of course use a face mask whilst we're in public. So I introduce myself. My name is Elese Ezewane, and I'm your host for today. So we'll be going through the agenda for today. Like I said, we have a host of activities for you. We'll be kicking off with the opening remarks by the section chair for Lagos section. And then we'll also hear from our YP chairperson to tell us more about this program. And then we'll also like to get to know about you, know more about you, where you're calling from, what's your demographic like, just generally know you, our audience. And then we will start going into the different addresses that we'll be having from our different resource persons, the keynote address and a couple of addresses to follow. And then right after that, we'll have the panel session. We also have some icebreaker activities, some games planned out for you. And then lastly, we'll be having the business pitch competition where a couple of you have submitted your business ideas, maybe existing ones or still upcoming business ideas that you would like to pitch for. There are prizes to be won in this session, and I promise you it is going to be such an engaging next 2 hours. So without much further ado, I'd like to welcome to the virtual stage Michael Oyere, who is the section chair for SPE Lagos, and he'll be giving us the introductory remarks. The stage is yours, Michael.
Thank you very much, LSE. Good afternoon, everyone. We're all doing well today. I'm particularly very pleased to welcome everyone on behalf of SPE Lagos section. And in a very special way, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our distinguished speakers for today's event. The keynote speaker, Dr. Miriam Kachuku, our guest speakers, Dr. Ibrahim Badijo, Mrs. Tomi Balogun, and Mr. Bonjo Akimbade, as well as our business pitch judges, Engineer Pringulebe, Ms. Boitumelo Shalake, and Mr. Edwin Enweraba. We're glad to have this array of speakers with us today. They all have outstanding pedigrees in their areas of specialization, and they indeed have very reputable and proven records. You're all welcome. I would like to also welcome all our senior SPA members who are connected to this call today. And most importantly, our young professionals for who we are gathered here today. You're all indeed welcome. I'm really excited about today's event, particularly about the theme, creating your own opportunities in the energy industry. For me, this theme is very deliberate, and it intends to evoke in us that ability to create, to innovate, to discover, to pioneer. I mean, a whole list of positive vibes we hope the theme evokes. For me, these are all attributes of greatness, and our mindsets will therefore be challenged as today's session, and will aim to educate, prepare, and equip the young professionals with game-changing knowledge and skills, which are very needed to lead and not lag in this ever-dynamic energy industry of ours. I have no doubt in my mind that our host of resource persons on the call today will share very deep insights and practical experiences that would empower and inspire every YP that is on the call today. There's also an aspect of today's event that aims to highlight, reward, and encourage the hard work of 3 business pitch finalists. I would encourage us to stay tuned till the very end. So the next few hours promises to be very exciting, and I do not wish to hold us up any longer. So please remain highly enthused, and let's have a rewarding session ahead. Thank you very much, and you're welcome. LSE, back to you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful opening remarks. Indeed, it promises to be a rewarding session for our young professionals, and also, I guess, for the senior professionals joined in today. And thank you so much for joining us. Without wasting much time, we'll go straight on to another introductory remarks by the YP chairperson in the person of Chooks Kerry, who will be taking us through on some of the key themes that have driven organizing this session. Kerry, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you, Alice, and thank you, Mike, for your opening remarks. You've really said a lot, and I thank you all for supporting us in this project. So good afternoon, everyone, and you're welcome once again to this on opportunities in the energy industry. And it's brought to you by SP Lagos Section, Young Professionals Committee. So I'd just like to remind us of the mission of the Young Professionals Committee, which is to identify, engage, develop SPE members, 35 years of age and under, by providing relevant technical education, networking opportunities. To this end, throughout the board year, we have organized several events to meet this objective. We organized several technical trainings, professional webinars and workshops, and social networking events, all tailored to equip our young professionals with the necessary knowledge and skills we believe they need to excel in the oil and gas industry and in life generally. So for this year's YP Forum, we recognize the difficult times we find ourselves, brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, which is indeed still ongoing. And we decided to do something, slightly different, and not just simply discuss concepts within the oil and gas, employment space, but instead have a fundamental look at how you can recognize current and future opportunities and make a living in any industry by leveraging some key concepts, knowledge, and skills that will be introduced by our guest speakers. In addition to this, like the section chair said, we have also organized the business pitch competition, where we would empower 3 young professionals by giving them the opportunity to pitch their new or existing business, idea or solution, and giving them a chance to receive, seed money to grow that business. I hope we all pay attention, gain some useful insight, and overall enjoy, this session. Thank you for listening, and back to you, Alice.
Okay, thank you so much, Kerry. I've been just listening to you. I was completely inspired by, those words, reaching out to the young professionals and empowering them, not just to look at, gaining employment, but that there are other opportunities existing, not just in the energy industry, but also in other sectors within the country and, of course, outside. So I'm looking forward to hearing from our panelists and our resource persons on some of the key concepts that we can basically leverage on to create our own opportunities. Now, I think this is the moment we've all been waiting for, and it's a time when most times we tend to overlook this time. And this time, we would like to know you. You are participants, would like to know you better. Please, if you could go to menti.com and put in the code displayed on the screen. The code is 544-98673. Please let us know who you are, where you're calling us from, and basically, let us know what you currently do. If you're a student, or you're currently in the job market, you're a graduate in the job market looking for an opportunity out there, or you're currently working, please let us know who you are. And at this point, I think we would display the Menti screen so we can see who has joined us today. Please let's take about 2-3 minutes to do this basically. So please bring out your phone or your web browser. Go to menti.com, use the code that you find on the screen there, 544-98673, and let us know your name, your current location, and of course, what you currently do. So we'll just give a few minutes for this. I see we just have one person respond yet, and we have a couple of people who have joined us in. So please go to menti.com and let us know who you are. Okay, I see the numbers for this. So we know who has joined us today, and basically we'll get on with the meat of today. So can we see the names, the results so far? Can we see the results so far, names and the location of those who have joined us? Okay, see we have seven respondents. Please let's keep this coming. We'll just give about a minute more, and then we'll move on straight up to the session. Okay, great. So I'm seeing a couple of us, okay, most of us are currently working, great. So I guess with some of the presentations coming up, we can see what concepts are best suited for you. Okay, some people are in the job market. Okay, we have some students as well. Great. Really good to see. I think okay, now we can see the names. Great. This is the critical part. Okay, thank you so much, SNY Michael, for joining. I see a couple of people joining us from South Africa. Thank you for joining. I see some people join from Abuja. We have people from the US. So we have quite a large diverse audience with us today. Thank you so much for joining us. So basically, I think we will get on with the rest. We will get on with the rest of the activities for today, and right now, the next part of our activity, okay, the next part of our activity will be our keynote address by Dr. So Dr. Miriam is the foremost influential and innovative and a veteran in the oil and gas industry with over 22 years of experience working in global companies and across multiple locations. She started her career in Shell UK and have progressed from Shell to ABB and now Seplat Petroleum Development Company PLC. She has engaged in several intellectual pursuits, having received executive training from notable schools, including IMD Business School, Harvard Business School, and Korn Ferry Institute. Dr. Kachiku has also bagged a PhD in international investment and natural resources law and policy. She has published several articles in international journals and also won several prizes. She's passionate about giving a voice to the voiceless through local economic development, agribusiness, and human capacity development, particularly for women and youth empowerment. While in Shell, she founded the Shell African Network UK, where she established the mentoring and coaching circles. She is consistently praised by her contemporaries for her well-rounded skill sets and outstanding analytical, interpersonal, and business skills. No wonder we'll be hearing from her today on the keynote address on creating your own opportunities in the energy industry. Dr. Kachiku, the floor is yours, please. Please, you can go ahead and share your screen for your presentation. Okay, it seems we don't have Dr. Miriam on the call at the moment. Technical team, please, if we can address that, and basically I think we'll move on to the next presentation whilst we wait for challenges. Be hearing today will be from Dr. Ibrahim Badejo. Dr. Ibrahim Badejo is an inventor. These are my own specific words. An innovator, a medical device business executive, and an entrepreneur with an excellent track record of innovative product launches. He is a senior director, New Ventures Medical Devices with Johnson & Johnson Innovation Center, Boston, US. He leverages his expertise in smart materials and biomaterials to support the medical device sector of Johnson & Johnson and has worked in the company in several leadership capacities. Dr. Badejo is a recipient of several international awards and 24 US patents. He's also well published in many peer-reviewed journals. He spends most of his spare time meeting the needs of others and giving back to the world. He has participated and led mission trips and currently serves on the board of several non-for-profit organizations, associations, and university trustees. He's an academician who has integrated his knowledge of research, technology, and business to develop and commercialize different products and new technology. I believe this makes him well suited to be speaking to us on the topic, how technology is driving innovation and consumer behavior. Dr. Badejo, please, the floor is yours. You may go ahead and share your screen.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation and thank you for the warm introduction, and I will. I think you said more about. Am I sharing my screen? Hold on, please. Let me get it together. So I'm going to share my screen now. Yeah.
Okay.
I have so many.
Okay. Stuff. Please go ahead.
Can you see my screen now? Let me close this. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, it's coming up.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thank you so much again.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Please
Leslie, for the introduction. That's humbling. And also, of course, Chucks for the invitation to be here and share some perspectives with every one of you. So, and I'm also grateful, whenever I see, I'm an old guy, and I always say that, but it gives me joy to always want to talk to young folks because I am very passionate about the intellectual, the drive, the essence that you guys can unleash in the world today. So kudos to all of you for spending this afternoon with me. And I'm sure you are going to have a wonderful time in this presentation, in this forum today. So my name is Ibrahim Badejo, and people call me Ib, and I am the new venture lead for Johnson & Johnson Medical Device, and I invest in early stage companies. So unfortunately, I'm not a petroleum guy, but I'm going to give you some perspectives on what I look for before I make an investment. So I'm going to talk about why should I invest in your idea or in your company? Because all of us have great ideas. But the question I always ask is that commercializable? Can that be scaled? What is the impact? So those are the questions that I really ask. And I'm going to just, go through some few slides. But before I do that, since I get paid by a company called Johnson & Johnson, and they've been gracious to me, So, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about Johnson & Johnson. And you might think you know more about Johnson & Johnson, but then I'm going to go into my presentation that is going to look at why I should invest in your company or your idea. Because as an entrepreneur and innovator and someone that was the chief scientist of the company that got acquired for $380 million by Johnson & Johnson, I think I have a little experience about being able to share some perspective why J&J acquired the company that I was an executive in. So let's go. Again, I am prolific on LinkedIn. I don't do what you call it, Facebook. I don't do Twitter. I don't do Instagram. I'm an old guy. But you can get hold of me on LinkedIn. And one thing you can count on is I will respond to your request or your email, whatever. That comes from the passion that I had when I was, and I still have, because when I was the chief scientist of Closure Medical, there were many reach out that we did and no one responded. And I did not want that to happen because great ideas can come from everywhere. So that is my belief. So let me talk about a company called Johnson & Johnson. And I'm sure when I mention Johnson & Johnson, a lot of thoughts come to your mind. And this is actually going to come to your mind if you have children, baby shampoo, baby lotion. And, alternatively in the US and probably most part of the world, Johnson & Johnson is actually the company that invented bandage as we know it today. But actually it's a much bigger company than we think of. But what is drive us, is a purpose. It's how we blend our heart with science to profoundly change the healthcare for humanity. That is what drives us. And every day I live, I wake up very early in the morning and I get really excited because I am looking for what is the next breakthrough, what could truly transform human life. And that's what I talk about a lot. So we are, the largest comprehensive healthcare company in the world, 130,000 employees. Last year we made about 83 billion. But underpinning this is our credo. We believe in the responsibility to our patient, customers, and mothers and fathers to be careful. And then we believe in the employees. The community that I lived in is important. If we do all this well, the shareholders are going to reap value for their investment in Johnson & Johnson. And that's what really gives me the answers to stay with Johnson & Johnson. My company was acquired a couple of years ago because this value align with my values, to impact the world that we lived in, to impact the community that we lived in, to think about us as a patient, as a mother and father. Those are the values that drives me in life. So, as I said, we are about a 3 billion. Our consumer health, which is what Johnson & Johnson is known for, is actually the smallest. It's 14 billion. Our pharmaceutical is about 46 billion. And the company, the sector that I invest for is the medical device. We focus on surgical care and surgical treatment. So that is, I'm not going to talk a little bit about it, but I'm going to share some perspective though. So let's talk about why should I invest in your idea on your company. Things that comes to my mind when I'm looking at a pitch deck or an entrepreneur or innovator present to me is, what is the impact of that idea when it becomes successful? What is the impact? And that impact is not just money, but it's an essential part of what I look for. So keep this in mind as you're thinking about your idea. Then I ask myself, how big is this opportunity? What is the market potential? How big is this opportunity in 5 years? How could that impact? Is it going to be 2 million naira business, or is it going to be 500 million naira business? Those are the things that I'm thinking about. Then I ask in my mind, and also challenge entrepreneurs and innovators, how well do they understand the competitive landscape? There's rarely anyone that comes with brand new idea. We tend to build on ideas. Because when you talk about innovation is not necessarily, you invent something, which I've been very fortunate to have invented, but really it's what is the impact. But then you have to understand what is the competitive landscape. Who are your potential competitors? How are they doing in the market? And whenever I look at a pitch deck, if you don't give me a slide that shows a competitive landscape, I already write you off. Because it tells me you haven't done your diligence to understand who are your competitors in the market. And most important, why is your idea better than their ideas? If you miss that in a deck, you can write me off as an investor. Because that tells me you haven't done your homework. Then, no matter how great idea you come up with, there's going to be a disruptor. There's going to be a disruptor. I mean, we all remember BlackBerry. Is anyone carrying BlackBerry today? No. We all remember VHS. When I was young, when I visited Nigeria, I used to get VHS. That's gone. Even people with camera, the market is dwindling. You never heard about Kodak anymore. Kodak used to be the epicenter of the photographic industry. But guess what? Your smartphone can do more than what BlackBerry is doing, can do more than what Kodak is doing, can do more than your VHS is doing, can do more than your CD is doing. It's all in a small device that you and I carry today. That was a disruptor for big industries. And if you're not thinking about your disruptor, someone is going to disrupt you. No matter how big the business is, even if it's 500 billion. So we are constantly looking for disruptors. Then I ask myself, what about the leadership of the organization? Because it's important that the leadership of the organization is what is going to carry through on the execution of the idea of the company. And at times, you may not have all the leadership. It's like my situation when I joined Closure Medical. I was a middle-level employee until but they saw the talent in me when they hired me until I became the chief scientist of the organization. So we have to look at that. Then I think about what is their background. Are they experienced? Do they have stripes to show for in this industry that they're going to be embarking on, or on the idea? What is their experience? Have they been in this industry for long? Do they understand what is competitive landscape? Generally, no matter how smart you are, you have to have advisors. You have to have advisors. You have to have naysayers. You don't surround yourself with yes, man, yes, dad, yes, sir, this is a great idea. You want to challenge yourself with people that are going to challenge your idea or the company, because that's going to make you think deeper. Then I ask myself, if you're coming to me with an idea and you haven't put a sweat equity in the company, that means that you put some time and effort. You spend your weekend thinking about the idea. In some cases, you've even quit your job, because that tells me you truly believed in it. Who are the owners of the company? Is this a full-time, or is this something you're going to be doing on the side gig? You know, we all have a day job. We only have 24 hours. If you're truly committed to it. When I was joining Closure Medical, I plunged into it, knowing that it may fail. But guess what? Entrepreneurship, innovation, failure is an option. People say failure is not an option. That is not true in life. Failure is an option. You have to be willing to take risk. What I would suggest is you take an intelligent risk, such that if you fail, you learn from that failure. And by the way, you fail quick, fail fast, and get out. And then how have you been funded so far? Who are you talking to? You need to be talking to fools and friends and family. What I mean by fools and friends is that people that have a naysayer, but are willing to give it a shot. I go back to my experience. I didn't have an experience in medical devices, but the company gave me an experience. Gave me a shot. They took a risk on me. How are you going to market this product? When it's successful, what is your go-to-market strategy? And in healthcare, I want to know, what are the regulatory pathways? Have you thought truly about it? If you haven't thought truly about it, then I have to question. If you don't know how to market this opportunity, then I have to question what efforts you've put into it. Because these are key aspects. You may not have answers to all of them, but you have to think through all of them and at least be able to articulate some meaningful answers when an investor asks you. And then, what is your exit strategy? Are you building this business to be sold in 5 years? Are you building this business for a long haul? I'm not saying either of them is bad or good, but you have to be able to articulate that if I'm going to invest in your company. Some investors are looking to, catch out in 5 years. Maybe you want to build this into, $1 billion company. They may not be your right investors. Because if they invest in your company, they're going to be pushing you to get out very quickly. But if you truly believe that this is $1 billion, this is $2 billion, is that okay? You want people that have a long-term view and they are willing to support you. I think about Amazon. Amazon now is a $1 trillion company. If the early investors would have said, let's exit, they won't be making that kind of money today. So this is important. So I think we don't have enough time, but I was going to talk about, what are the, technology disruptor and, disruption in surgical techniques. At the end of the day, what we also have to be thinking is really the future disruption and what is the convergence of technology and in healthcare. And that's what I live by every day. And I'm not going to go through this slide, but one thing that comes to mind is in the past, when you go in for a procedure, you have a big laceration. Then we move to laparoscopic procedure. Today, we have a robotic procedure. And in the future, we have to have what is called digital surgery. And that digital surgery is an enabling AI, machine learning, combine that on the tip of a robot to be able to dissect, understand, recognize critical structures, recognize a tumor versus non-tumor organ, so that you can dissect that segment of the organ and still retain the survival of the patient. I was fortunate to do an investment, and this I've shared my slide with Chuck, and he can share it with everyone. I was fortunate to invest in a company. It actually was an idea, and they focus on orthopedic oncology. But there was some factor that really made me to consider investing in the company. I looked at the founders. They were experienced, and they were in it for a long haul. And we identified an area which, if you have a leg cancer today, or if you have an oral cancer, if you have a leg cancer, the leg is going to be amputated. I was thinking about what if I can imagine a situation where instead of leg amputation, you can change the life of this individual. You can have them retain their leg. So we developed this 3D printed scaffold, which was osteogenic surface modification. With this little company, with about 4 employees, we then acquired the company. We got the FDA approval. And last year we launched the product. And it gave me joy when I got a testimony from a patient that lost hope because he was going to be, his leg was going to be amputated, to see a now regenerated bone and walking on the 2 feet. So I am not going to bore you with my presentation, but I am very prolific on LinkedIn. You can reach me out and I will be more than happy to respond. Once again, it is a pleasure to be able to chat with you guys today. And I think you guys are, up to greater and better things, achieve higher success in all your endeavor. Just be committed to it. Thank you. So that's the end of my presentation. So
thank you so much, Dr. Badejo, for that presentation. I have a couple of questions coming up in my mind, but we will park that till the panel session itself. So
unfortunately, I have to.
I think we'll leave that for the panel session conversation.
Yeah, but I have to apologize. My niece is graduating today, and I have to be there. When your family is graduating, it's a day of joy. So I'm going to have to drop off at 9. So I will hang out till then. Thank you.
Okay, please, we'll take note of that. Thank you so much, sir. So without wasting much time, I would like us to go back to our keynote speaker, Dr. Miriam Kachiku, who will be taking us through on the theme, creating your opportunities in the energy industry. Apologies, Miriam, for the issues you had earlier, but you can go ahead and share your screen, and the stage is yours, please. If you're speaking, Miriam, we're unable to hear you. You're currently muted. Okay, great.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. So I apologize. Like you said, we had to. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
So I apologize. We had a technical glitch initially, and but I'm actually glad that Dr. Ibrahim did speak before, because some of the things he talked about perhaps would be quite relevant for us. And so the topic is creating your own opportunities in the energy industry. And usually what out here in the industry, when you're talking on such a topic, is to talk about maybe the renewable energy, the impacts on the the sector or the gas policy in Nigeria? Where is it going? What of Tesla and its transition to sustainable energy? But I'm not going to do that today. What I'm going to do is just go on a journey with you over the next 20 minutes. It's a short time, but we'll see what we can do with that to kind of look at the perspectives that can help you create your own opportunities in the energy industry or any industry, actually. Okay? So before I go into this, one of the first things I'd like to do, give you about a minute or half, a minute, to just think about your dream life. What vision, what dream vision do you have for yourself? Okay? So think about it like if you were on your bed, just thinking about life, if there were no restrictions relating to money or that it has to be reasonable or people have to believe you, what would you like to do? What would you like to achieve with your life? Your hopes, your aspirations? Just take a moment and think about that. I'll give you about 30 seconds to do that. So just by, I'm sure you can indicate by raising your hand, all the people in the room now, each of you has a very clear vision for your life. You're very clear about it. You know what you want for your life. Okay? So, I don't know, Elsie, can you see how many people raised their hands?
I'll quickly have a look right now and see.
3 people.
3 people, okay. 3.
Right, so people in the room are very clear about their vision. That's good. The rest of the people may have a vision, but are not very clear about it. So whether you're clear about your vision or you're not clear, this is the right conversation that we should have, okay? So I'll just run you through what the structure will be today, and it's going to be quite quick. So please keep focused. So the next one, Chooks. All right. So we're going to go through this really quickly. The power of vision, clarity, visualization, leadership at all levels, the impact triangle, systems thinking, questions thinking, and at the end, how indeed do you take ownership over creating opportunities in the energy industry for yourself? All right, so let's go to the power of vision. Now, we've looked at whether we have a vision and how clear it is. Now, if anybody has ever spoken to you about the secret to achieving your objectives, the very first thing is clarity of what you want to achieve. And the way I say that in simple terms is, if you want to travel, you have to first be clear where you want to go to. Are you going to Abuja? Are you going to London? Are you going to Enugu? Are you going to Kano? If you don't know where you're going and you're not clear about where you're going and you start thinking about how you want to get there, you might find yourself traveling from VI to Ijebode when you said you were going to London and you were heading to the airport, to the international airport. And if you're not really sure of where you're going, then you're just going to be going round and round and round, and then you'll be blaming every other person for you not getting to where you're going. And the thing about being very clear about your power of vision, about your vision really, is that the law of, what's it called again now? The law of attraction, yes, that's what it's called. The world is, as you know, is made up of natural laws. There's one called the law of attraction that some of you may have heard about, is that what you give out to the universe is what it gives back to you. And so when you're very clear about your vision, you'll suddenly find out that things start coming into gel. An example, for instance, is when you say, oh, you want a red BMW. Now, you haven't seen a lot of them, but they're red and you want to buy a red BMW. I bet you that from the day you say this, you start seeing red BMWs on the road. Or you have an idea for a business, you're not really sure, but you're very clear what you want. And then the day after, somebody says something and tells you, oh, I have somebody who's interested in discussing the supply chain management within the energy industry. And it was just the day before that you sat down dreaming about getting involved in the supply chain management of the energy industry. That's part of the law of attraction. And that leads us into visualization. When you're very clear about the what I want to do, then you actually have to envision yourself in there. Visualize yourself, picture yourself in it, so that there's a link to it in neuroscience where you actually believe it and you now start behaving like that. I'll give you an instance. Someone whose vision it is to win a gold medal in the Olympics. You'll find out that day in, day out, morning, afternoon, and night, in their heads, they're imagining the day they'll be standing on that podium and they've won the gold and the flag of their country is behind and the national anthem is being sung. They would envision that many times. And that is what will get them out of bed by 4 a.m. to go start running or practicing, swimming, whatever it is. And so it is very, very important that you visualize yourself within that vision. But if you're not clear about your vision, you cannot visualize it. And so whatever it is you want to achieve in the energy industry or outside the industry, whatever your end game is, you need to be very clear about it. You need to visualize it. Now, when you think about the vision that you have, whether you were very clear about it or you just, within the 1 minute I gave you, started thinking about it in a clear manner. And when I say clear, it's not these general things. I want to make money, or I want to get married and have children, or I want to be able to have money so that I can build a house. No. You have to be very, very specific about what you want to achieve for yourself, what you want your life to be. And most times when I speak to people about their visions, you find out that they're going somewhere and they can't do it alone. They have to deal with people. And in fact, there's a bit of leadership in it. And so what we want to invite you to do is to look at the frame through which you look at leadership. Do you see leadership just as, the Buharis of this world, the governors, those in legislature? Or do you see leadership at all levels? Personally, I see leadership at all levels, in society, in companies, in family. And then you say to yourself, what does leadership really mean to me? For one thing, if you're leading and nobody is following you, then you're not a leader. So you need to honestly ask yourself, why should anyone follow me? Why should anybody believe in this vision that I have and this vision that I'm sharing? Why should anybody walk with me to this end game? And you have to be very honest about it. First, you take responsibility for your own vision, the opportunities that you want to create. And then the next thing is, why should anyone follow me? What if I'm going and nobody's walking with me, am I going to achieve this? And so you need to take ownership of your leadership narrative, your leadership story, and be very honest about it. It takes courage to face it. Okay, then the next, that will lead us really into, I think it's system thinking. Next one, please. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't realize. Now, there are 3 arms to impact. What you know. So your PhDs, your masters, the MBAs and all that. Then how you do what you do. So how you apply what you know. And then the last one is who is aware of what you know and how you do it. And usually when I ask this question with the people I deal with, I get all sorts of numbers, but usually who is aware of what you know and how you do it is usually the smallest I get. But when the impact triangle tells you that what you know is really about 10% of impact, how you do it is about 30%, or who is aware that you know what you know and you do and how you do it is about 60% of impact. Now you must have the 10% and the 30% for the 60% to work. If you don't have the 10% and the 30%, you're just playing politics, and that's not sustainable. Somebody will realize this guy can deliver, because you don't really know and you don't do it in an excellent manner. You don't have professional excellence. Okay? So bear this in mind that you know what you know, yes, you've graduated, you had a first class, you have an MBA, whatever, and maybe you have a job now, or even if you don't and you're running your own business, or you have the dream to run your own business or get a job. How you present yourself, how you achieve your results, how you achieve your goals matters about 30%. But then the stakeholders that are aware of what you're doing and how you do it is about 60%. And when Dr. Ibrahim was talking about the parameters for checking whether they should invest in you, if you notice, he spent a lot of time on who you are. Who are your investors? How have you invested in this? Your sweat equity and all that. All those come into 60%. Okay? All right. So the next one. All right. So that 60% really leads us to what we call systems thinking. A lot of people, when I say, okay, what comes to your mind when I say systems thinking? I get different answers, but really systems thinking is that everything we do, our actions, our behavior is a result of a system. The natural world works in terms of natural systems. You yourself, you're a system. Your family is a system. Your business is a system. The corporate world you live in is a system. And behaviors that we see are results of the intricacies of the system. And so when there's a behavior that is not acceptable, you don't just focus on giving feedback about the behavior. You look underneath and say, okay, what is it about this system that's not working that I need to tweak a little bit to change the behavior? And so if you took your family, for instance, if the children suddenly start swearing, you start asking yourself, where are they learning this from? Is it TV? Is it the language of the adults in the house? Is it what they have on their computers? Is it from school? And you start looking, okay, how do I tweak this? What do I need to change so that their behavior will change? Unfortunately, most times we focus on behaviors, we don't look underneath. And there are three levels, I would say, for systems thinking to use it effectively. There's the individual one, which is me and the way I deal with my stakeholders who are directly near me, what's going on in their heads, what matters to them, what's their buzz button. And then there's also the one of like the corporate body that I work with. That's the larger body that you're looking at. What are their systems, policies, procedures? How do I relate to this? Okay. And in looking at all that, the systems, one of the things that jumps into my mind and I usually tell people to think about is the iceberg. So please, the next page. Okay. Now, these are two forms of the iceberg model. The one on the left, I usually use more for corporates. It can work for individuals, but it's more relevant to corporates. So at the top, if you see the iceberg, the thing about it is that there's only a little bit that's up there, and then below it, you have a lot. So you see what's happening at the top, but below the waterline, you see patterns of behavior, system structure, mental modes that's going on. When you look at the personal one, that's easier to look at. Behavior is at the top, but below is thoughts, beliefs, and values. So when you're thinking about that 60%, within me, my thoughts, my beliefs, my values, or if it's a corporate body, what are the patterns of behavior, the systems that's bringing up these events? And so when you hear of any company that is in trouble, whether somebody there's been fraud or anything, and go look at their mission, vision, and values, and you will find that those are words that have been said, but behaviors, the culture of that entity is not in alignment with its values. The same with family, the same with yourself. When you see your behavior not really aligning to your values, you need to start questioning what's going on. Is it my thoughts? Is it my beliefs? Is it my values that are in misalignment? So, and then the next one is what I call the cognitive triangle. Whatever you do, it's really three. Your behavior is influenced by your thoughts and your feelings. An example I usually give is if you were walking along the road and you saw a tiger, your normal reaction would be to turn around and run away. Why? Because as far as you're concerned, this tiger is going to eat me. And if I said to you, why are you running? You're going to say, oh, it's the tiger that's making me run. Actually, it isn't the tiger. It's your perception of the tiger, what you think about the tiger, your feelings. probably, wow, I don't want to be lunch. It's going to eat me. Because the same tiger in a zoo behind the glass, you'll be walking towards it. You will not be running away. But then your thoughts and feelings have changed, and so your behavior will change. But when you were out there, saw the tiger, wasn't in a zoo, your thoughts, your feeling, and you started running away from the tiger. And so if you realize this, whatever behavior you're putting up, you ask yourself, okay, what is really driving my behavior? It might be fear, it might be self-doubt, it might be some programming, conditioning, underlying belief, some perspective, or some behavior, some experience you had in the past, that you make an analogy. And so these things hold you back from achieving your goals. So whenever you think about achieving your goals, you start thinking about the house, and those feelings and those thoughts start coming up. I call them gremlins sometimes, or you name whatever it is. But these are things that could hold you back. Now, the next thing that I would go on to from here that will still help you towards achieving those goals, creating those opportunities you want to create, and taking real ownership over your life and achieving the dream vision you have your life is question thinking. Now, this is very important because a lot of us never think about question thinking. But every day when you get up, every action you take is an answer to a question you have asked yourself. We do this so automatically, like the air we breathe, that we don't realize that we're asking those questions. And everything you've seen, every human development is the answer to a question. And so many times we don't realize that if you change, if you've used the question to come to an action that is a solution to something, and then you realize that that solution is no longer working, that you need a new question. We continue asking the same question, expecting the answer to be different. And then we get frustrated and we get stuck and we say we're not moving. And so in the morning you wake up and you dress up. Automatically you've asked yourself, what am I doing today? Do I have meetings? Am I going to church? What day is it today? What am I doing today? And for people who live in the temperate zones, you probably say, oh, what's the temperature today? What's the weather going to be like? And it's the answer to that that determines what you're going to wear. So every single thing you're doing, it's a question, an answer to a question. And sometimes, even for those that run teams, you have somebody who gives you trouble in the office, is always dropping the ball. Many times you're going in and what you're thinking is, how is this person going to annoy me today? What ball is she going to drop? That affects your behavior towards that person. And the person perceives it and also is then lacks confidence. But if you just change that question a little bit to, how can I support Mr. A to ensure that he achieves his goals? What is it that makes Mr. A tick? How can I inspire Mr. A? How can I motivate Mr. A? It changes everything. So question thinking is very important. Just move on. Another example I can give is at the beginning, Stone Age man, probably the answer to water, they were moving around, was how do I get to water? And they were always moving around. Change that question to how do I get water to me? Wells started coming up, pipelines and things like that started coming up. Please move on. Okay. All right. So the question thinking aspect, what I want to bring out, because there's no way I'm going to really go deep into all these things today, is in creating your own opportunities. How do you empower yourself? How do you take ownership of your own goals, objectives, your dreams, and achieve them? And I thought about this choice map. I call it the learner judger mindset. And so all of us are judges because we grew up with people judging us and saying no, no, no. So I call myself a recovering judger, and most people I know are recovering judges. And so the point is, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're always making choices. You're asking yourself questions that inspire the choices you make. Now, let me start with the judger mindset. You react, and then you start asking, whose fault is it? What's happening here? Why are these people behaving like this? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with this country? Why is this country a dream killer? Why is this country a destiny destroyer? What is it? And so you find yourself going down, it's really negative energy, and you end up in a pit. Why am I such a failure? Why don't things work? Why will other people make it and I don't make it? I've prayed. What is it? Do I even believe in God? Why bother? And you're down there in that sort of pit. All of us have been there. And you know when you're going down there, it's automatic reactions, it's a blame culture, it's a win-lose kind of relating. Now for the learner mindset, you're asking different questions. And all those things are the same. You know, I'm not saying that it's not somebody's fault. I'm not saying that the country is not a dream killer. No, I'm not saying that. Those might be right. But the fact is, what are you doing? What are the choices you're making? And so if you start asking yourself questions like, what just happened here? What do I want for myself? What of others? What are they thinking? What can I learn from this? What are the assumptions I'm making? Are they even right? What are the facts? People thinking. So remember the systems thinking that goes well with questions thinking. My stakeholders, what do they want? Okay, that didn't just go very well. But what exactly do they want? What are they feeling? Am I taking responsibility? What are my choices here? What is possible? What's best to do? How do we move forward? What baby steps can we take? You find out that you have more positive energy, you are taking control, and you feel empowered. You're not letting go of that control. And so as you go to create those opportunities for yourself, you're fighting with your gremlins, your fears, your doubts, but please have your vision very clear, visualize it and affirm it. And then remember you're a leader at any level where you are. Ask yourself, why should anyone follow me? And then remember your stakeholders and the systems that need to help you to achieve the opportunities that you're creating. And then remember question thinking. What questions am I asking myself today? Well, the questions that I'm asking myself get me to where I'm going. The questions I've asked myself that got me thus far are those the same questions that'll get me to the end game where I want to go. And if find you're not asking the right questions and you're going down the Georgia path, you can switch things. And so the important thing is to have that awareness that these are the things you can do to take control, empower yourself, and then go off and achieve those goals and objectives you've set for yourself. And whether or not it's gas or renewables or anything at all, you will create those opportunities and achieve your goals because the alternative is zero tolerance. Okay, so I'll stop there. And again, I apologize that I didn't come in at the best.
No, thank you so much, Miriam, for that wonderful presentation. I mean, it's been wonderful listening to yourself and also Dr. Badejo, who spoke more around the investing aspect and what are the key things that an investor should look out for, which leadership of the company is part of it. And you have spoken pretty well on the leadership parts and some of the concepts that we as the people can control. So basically, we can control ourselves. We can control how we think and basically leverage on that to create the right opportunities for ourselves. May I crave the indulgence of the rest of our speakers for us to ask Dr. Miriam and Dr. Bade just a few questions before we carry on with the rest of the session, and as they will be leaving us soon. So the first question I would like to ask goes to Dr. Miriam, and you know you've talked about leadership. If you don't have any followership, you know, then you really have to question you know what type of leader you are. And if I were to infuse that with, you know, creating opportunities and having ideas, you know, we know that no great idea has ever been executed by one man or one woman. How do you bring others along, you know, on board your vision for the future when you're framing your idea to ensure that you're able to move from just that ideation to actual execution?
Thank you very much, Elsie. That's a very good question. Well, I would say the dream. You have to be very clear about it. I'll give an example of Martin Luther King. All he had was a dream, but he was very clear. He didn't have a plan. Now his life was cut short, unfortunately, but everything we're doing today, including the Black Lives Matter, is about that dream. Another leader that I'll use as an example is Gandhi. He just had a vision. he didn't have a plan. But he didn't have any power the way we see today. But guess what? He had a followership. So you have very clear dream. Your vision has to be very clear. It's about the what or the how. That's a mistake people make. They start with the how, and so they get discouraged. Start with the clarity. And get you, the universe will conspire to bring the house together. To bring people who are of similar mindset. Now, the second thing then, like we talked about, is you have to be ready. And there's something I actually say, if you're generous with your dream, when ideas come, ideas will be generous. The mind has to be clear. You can't have too many things in the mind, because when the mind is filled with a lot of things, then even when the opportunities come by, the people that you're supposed to use to achieve that dream come by, you will not recognize them. So I cannot overemphasize the importance of clarity and the visualization. And then you need to ask yourself the question, as you're visualizing and you're clear, what drives me? What are the values that drive me? Because when you share your vision, it's those values that people will hook onto. Whenever I'm talking to people about the DNA of their company, especially those who are trying to build a new company, and they're thinking of how do I get people of like mind to come in, I ask them that question: so what's driving you? Why should you exist? What is your reason for existing? What are you bringing in? And what would be the values driving that business? And so when you get people who have similar values, then they will follow. So when you again think about Martin Luther King or Gandhi, who didn't have power but had full ownership, it was the values. They spoke to the values that drive people. But then while you're doing that, what I would suggest then is that you follow the 5 steps of emotional intelligence. Self-awareness is what we're talking about. Self-management, self-motivation. Then you will be able to be aware of what on using systems thinking, and then being able to manage other people's emotions and their values and what is driving them to bring them into yours. You have to be very clear on those things. What, why, how. Make sure you have an anchor statement that when people ask you what you do, start with why we do what we do. That's speaking to the value.
Thank
For those
you.
values,
Thank you so much. Okay.
I hope that answered your question.
Yes, you did. And I think we're sort of losing your voice, sort of, and pardon me that I had to cut in. Yeah, but you did answer the question very clearly. It's not about the how, it's about the what, and the why you're doing what you're doing, having that clarity of vision, being able to visualize it, and having the right followership, basically, and the how will basically fall into place. That's sort of like a summary of what I've gotten from that. Thank you so much for that. And then my question to Dr. Badejo is around, so in the course of your presentation, on what you look out for before you invest in the company, and in this case, I want to also say in the people as well, because you also mentioned the leadership part is the experience. So, you talked a lot about the experience, having experience in the field that you want to go into, basically. But I'd like to find out from you, what sort of tips, because when I look at the demographics of the people we have on the call, we have some students, we have some graduates in the job market. And unfortunately, in the current climate that we have today, the job supply is pretty low. What sort of tips would you give, to young graduates whom the external market doesn't look favorable to, and yet investors like yourself look out for experience? What sort of tips would you give to them to be able to still thrive in this current environment? Hello, Dr. Ibrahim. If hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know if you heard my question. My apologies. My network dropped me off. I did direct a question to Dr. Badejo.
Yes, we heard the question, but just checking to be sure Dr. Ibrahim is still on. He might be away from his device, so we may need to just move on.
Okay, we'll move on then. Okay, all right. So basically, we'll move on to the next speaker that we have, and this speaker, I will attempt to share my screen again. And this speaker is for me, this speaker is quite an exciting one to be meeting her virtually. Please confirm you can see my screen. So our next speaker is I would say a young personality who has really made a name for herself in her field. Her name, Tomi Balogun, is a certified financial educator and a leader within the financial education space in Africa, with over a decade's worth of experience across management, consulting, telecommunications, and value-added technology. She currently contributes her technical expertise and extensive experience to enabling financial education for millennials in Africa. She's a founder and current CEO of Extract, a financial education and technology company that provides financial education to millennials in Africa through the Green Investment Club. How many of us have heard of the Green Investment Club? Right, she's an Amazon bestseller author and a volunteer facilitator for Afro Leadership Development Program, an initiative that targets undergraduate females with the objective of bridging currently existing leadership gaps. She holds a bachelor's degree in economics and an MBA and is an alumni of the Harvard FinTech Online program. May I welcome to the virtual stage Tomi Balogun, who will be taking us through on how we can create wealth through investment. Please, the floor is yours, Tomi.
Good afternoon, everyone. So happy to be here. Thank you for that warm introduction. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you see me as well? Can you see me as well? You can see me, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I think she has to stop screen sharing so that I can share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. Thank you so much. Excited to be here. I'm always happy to speak with communities such as this. I joined the two previous presentations and I actually learned a lot as well that I also be incorporating. So thank you for having me and it's a pleasure to be here. So let's just get right into it. Creating wealth through investments. Why is this important? I mean, this tweet captures it, right? We're all Nigerians, we live in Nigeria. Within a year, the Nigerian middle class have chested, the street language. 2.5% VAT rate increase, 65% hike in electricity tariff, increase in fuel prices, increase in food prices, FX rate depreciation, heightened insecurity. I mean, all of this just within a year. It's a lot, right? And all of this after a 5-year period of consistent decimation of real income, right? That is, in simple terms, basically means that over the past 5 years, we have experienced 2 recessions, inflation rates. It's just been like a decline, right? And, on the back of this trend, a lot of people asking questions, such as, should I relocate? Should I leave Nigeria? Or what exactly do I do with my money? Does this money have value at all? Some other trends you might see is there's pressure on Nigeria to continue to reform currency. We also have the inflation rate rising, currently about 18%. Key concerns, right? And as young people, one of the things that I'm passionate about is helping millennials and Generation Z, just like me, see how we can put our money to work to create wealth. And this is why, because one of the stories that my dad always tells me is before he got married, he could buy a brand new car, right? And, they could do so many other things, but in today's day and age, not a lot of young people can afford to do that, right? And that's because we seem more impoverished than our parents were. And so for me, it's more like, it seems like we're more impoverished than our parents were. Our parents could do a lot more. The Naira had a lot more value back then. I mean, I saw a passport picture, a passport, like the Nigerian passport, international passport data page for one of my mentors. And, it felt amazing to see it, because right there, I saw that the Naira was stronger than the dollar, right? At that time, I think 1,000 Naira was exchanged for 1,000 and something dollars, right? This happened. This is reality. There was actually a time. And for us young people, it seemed like a reality we've never ever experienced before. I mean, the fact that the Naira was actually higher and stronger than the dollar. My dad says, my grandfather then, when he used to travel, it was 1 Naira to 1 pound, right? And to think that we just seem to have gone from bad to worse. And is this going to get better in the next few years? I don't know. Let's see. Maybe 2023 will bring something better. But I'm not here to spell all doom and gloom. I'm here to tell you to take responsibility, really, because in spite of all of that, there are huge opportunities to create wealth through investment. And 2020 for us was an amazing year, because while we saw the pandemic happen, we saw global stock markets crash. We saw so many things. Crude oil prices crashed as well. Nations around the world went on economic lockdown. A lot of people, so many things happened. But on the back of that were so many investment opportunities. And what I always say is, there was an amazing wealth transfer in 2020 for those that were prepared. Because while we saw all the headlines, those that were ready and prepared for opportunities took advantage of these opportunities, right? So we saw the global stock market, Nigerian stock market, the US stock market crash in March last year. The truth was, there was a major opportunity at that time for those that were prepared. Why? Because they are taking responsibility for their finances. They were ready to sweep in and take advantage of companies that were trading at a discount, right? So for those that took advantage of that opportunity, by the end of the year, they had done 100% on their investment, right? I mean, case in point, I earned 100% on investing in the Nigerian stock market. And so that's like, in spite of all of that background, there were opportunities to create wealth. There was a major wealth transfer, because while we saw the economy and market decline, what happened was a lot of assets were trading at a discount for those that were prepared. So I'm here to tell you that you have to take responsibility for yourself. Don't get carried away with headlines. You have to get yourself a financial education. You have to learn how investing works, because if you in the famous words of Warren Buffett, it says that when others are fearful, that's when you should be greedy. And when others are greedy, that's when you should be fearful. 2020 was a year when so many people stepped back and everything was like on a slump. But for those that had taken responsibility for their personal finances, they took advantage of opportunities, right? So in spite of all that is going on, with all the pressure of income, with rise in food prices, rise in everything, there are opportunities to create wealth. And I'm telling you this as someone who has done this over and over again personally, and someone who has also helped our community of over 1,000 members do that consistently over the past 3 years. So you need to take responsibility. Nobody else is going to take it for you. Nigeria is not going to take responsibility for your income. You have to take responsibility, and you have to ask yourself a basic question: what do I want to achieve financially? So I'm going to put that question out there. Tell me, what do you want? I want to see your answers in the chat box, right? Let's make this as interactive as possible. Are you still with me? So let's see. What do you want to achieve? Waiting for the comments. What do you want to achieve financially? Tell me, what's your financial goal? What do you want? When you think about money, what do you want? Can you all hear me? Are you all with me?
Yes, Tomi, we're all with you, and I think some comments are coming in.
Okay, so I'm waiting for the comments. Let's see. I'm actually excited to ask this question. All right, Aziz says, I want to achieve financial stability. Joe says financial independence, financial freedom. Right, good, great questions. So create financial freedom and generational wealth. Great. Let's see, let's wait for more, 10 seconds. Let's see if there are any more responses. What do you want? Elizabeth, enough money that wouldn't make me think too much. Elizabeth, why is money making you think too much? I want to make wealth now and more continuously. All right. So thank you for all of these answers. Great place to start. Gates level proliferation. I want to achieve financial freedom and flexibility to create community impact. That's good. And make consistently up to $1 million in every year. Fantastic, right? Financial autonomy. That's another interesting one. Financial autonomy. So that's financial freedom, I guess. You're just replacing the word freedom with autonomy. I want to be in financial control. Right. Thank you. Great question. Great answers to my question. But let's see. Here are the answers that are not acceptable, right? I want to be rich. I want to have more money. I want to be a billionaire. I want to have financial freedom. I want to be a baller, right? Some people just say that. And I'm not saying that that's not a good place to start. I'm just saying that these answers are not enough, right? You can't stop right there. They are not acceptable in the framework of working towards building or achieving your financial goal, right? No, and great place, because when I see all of these answers, what I see is you're already thinking that way. You're already thinking about financial freedom. You're already thinking about financial security and all of that. But here are some questions. There are some answers that I call SMART goals. So I want to build a 12-month emergency fund. I want to pay off my debt in 1 year. I want to increase my net worth by 50%. I want to invest in real estate in Lagos and Abuja. It depends on you, right? So SMART, specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, time-bound. You know why? When you just stop at this point and say, I want to achieve financial freedom, what does financial freedom mean? Really, what does it mean? Elsie was the only one that was quite specific, and she says, I want to make $1 million a year. Now that's specific, right? That's measurable. That's actionable. Is that realistic? Is up to Elsie, but trust me, anything is possible, right? And then time bound every year. I love that answer, right? Gabriel, sorry, we're not money doublers. How can I turn 5 million into 100 million in a year? No, that's money. In fact, that's beyond money doubling. That's geometric money doubling, right? No, that's not how investing works, right? And you have to be careful about asking those kind of questions, because a lot of people get into the wrong schemes because they are in a hurry. They're in a hurry. Investing is a journey. It's something you build up over time. So when you say that you want to build up 5 million, you want to turn 5 million to 100 million, you're like, wow. Like, bros, calm down. Just take it easy, right? But I wanted to really make this point, because for a lot of people, it's more like, oh, the country is tough, the economic climate is tough, I want to start investing, I want to do this, I want to make money. But do you have a goal? what are you working towards here? What exactly are you working towards? Financial freedom. What is financial freedom? Financial freedom is this long-term thing. Have you broken it down to short-term? Have you broken it down to medium-term goals? What do you want to achieve at the end of December 2021? Let's even start from there. What do you want to have in terms of investing or in terms of your investment portfolio at the end of December 2021? Do you have that clearly stated? Because you're saying financial freedom and it's more like, oh, this thing is just hanging in the air. Like sometime, well, I want to be like Bill Gates, we just say these things in passing, but they just sound like wishes, right? Because when they are not set as goals, when they're not smart goals, you're really not working towards anything. You're just living your life day to day and wishing and saying, oh, I want to be like Bill Gates. I want to be like this. No. When you start to get specific, it becomes really clear to you. And that's what actually changed my investment journey. When I realized that, girl, it's time to do things differently, right? You can't just keep saying that I want to be this, I want to be that, because you're just spending money. You're thinking money is going to fall from the sky, 30 billion in your account. It doesn't work like that. And I knew that, okay, this was the step I needed to take. And then that got me on the journey to starting my own investment club, because I knew that I wanted to come together with a group of people and that would help me move faster. And we'll get to that. But, I realized that it was time to take responsibility and be specific. And then that set me on my own journey. But if you keep wandering around the circle of your wishes, you will not take any specific action and you will not achieve any goal, right? So getting to the next thing, you set your goal. What happens next? You need to have a plan for your money. And that's what I call a budget. Because once most people see budget, they just think, oh, some Excel sheets kind of stuff that people do and all of that. No, because a lot of people have career plans. My career plan is to be this. You have business plans, you have all of that, but then they forget that you cannot achieve a lot of these things without money. You need the money. You want to have a career plan, you probably need to write some certifications. You want to be able to take some time off work and do some MBA certifications. It's money. You want to have a family plan, you need money. You want to go on vacation once a year, you need money. You, what other plans are there? Business plan, you want to set up a business, you want to build your business, you need money. Money is a tool. So why don't you have a plan for your money? Why don't you have a plan for your money? That's what a budget is. A budget is a plan for your money. It's not what nerds do or what finance gurus do or what businesses do. Businesses have annual budgets or governments have annual budgets. No, you usually need to have your own personal budget as well, right? You have to have a plan for your money, and it starts with your flows. How does money flow in and how does it flow out? Because trust me, if you do not understand your flows, you haven't even started yet. Because for a lot of people, they get to the end of the month and I'm like, oh my God, where did all the money go? Right? When you get that credit alert, right? I assume most people that are here work 9 to 5. And if you don't, you run your business. I assume your business pays you salary. But then now, when that time comes, the money has come out, finally, credit alert. And then after for some people, it's even 2 days. For some people, it's like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You're like, oh my God, look at my account balance. Where did all the money go? Why? Because you're not tracking your flows. And you know what? As long as you're not tracking your flows, how money flows in and how money flows out, you'll keep wondering where all your money went. And that was my story. I'd worked for about 4+ years before I went to do my MBA, but it was time to do my MBA and I'm like, oh my God, I've been working for 4 years. What have I been doing with all of my income? Yeah. All I had to do was look at my wardrobe. But anyway, that's a story for another day, but you get the point. For a lot of people, you have an idea of how money flows in, right? It's the income, it's the salary, it's fine. You know how money flows in, but then how does it flow out? That's where the magic happens, because you're just swiping, right? But you see, you cannot really start your investment journey, this journey to wealth, if you do not understand how money is flowing in and how money is flowing out. It's a very basic thing for most people to just say, see, I don't want all these personal finance things. I just want to know what to invest my money in. No, investing starts with a strong foundation in personal finance principles, because investing is something that has to be part of you, something you create as a habit. It's not something you do only when you get a bonus. It's not something you do once a year and you leave it till the next 5 years. You do it continuously. That's how you take advantage of compound interest. That's how you build up an investment portfolio. That's how you seize opportunities. Right? You have to be prepared. Opportunities come. Like I said, opportunities came in 2020, but those that were prepared were the ones that took advantage of it. Right? The fact that we were prepared to take advantage of buying up companies at a discount was the reason why we're able to earn over 100% from the Nigerian stock market. And guess what? The Nigerian stock market was the best performing stock market in the world last year. Yes, this same Nigerian stock market, a lot of people don't want to invest their money in, right? The US stock market was amazing as well. We did portfolios of over 42% in dollars, right? The real estate market, amazing. But it was for people that were prepared. And the people that were prepared are those that had been tracking their inflows and outflows and had continued to create budgets, right? And how do you define this? You have to track, your inflow, your income. And for your outflow, which is where the magic happens, you have to create streams of income. Categories of spend, rather. What are the categories of spend you have? That's how you create a budget. You say that this is how much I'm spending on feeding or groceries. This is how much I spend on transportation or fueling my car. This is how much I spend on personal grooming. Yes, create a budget for it. You want to have a budget for your hair. Nobody's saying you should not look good. Though. I mean, we're all young people here, right? No, frugality is not the way to wealth, guys. Frugality is not the way to wealth. Nobody's telling you that you have to scringe and be poor and wait until you're 60 before you can enjoy yourself. No. That's not the point here. The point is track how you're spending money, because you don't know where your money is going. You don't even know where to start with saying that, okay, I'm spending too much here, or I need to cut short this, because guess what? We're working towards a financial goal here. The financial goal is what? Long-term financial freedom. Short-term financial goal might be to build up an investment portfolio worth $1 million. Medium term, break it down, but you cannot begin to achieve that. Money is not going to fall from the sky into your financial portfolio. It has to come from your inflow. Right? And you have to create a budget for it. And what's the point? Make investment a bill. That's what I did. What's the point of all of that story? Make investment a bill in your budget. A lot of people pay their electricity bills, their, fuel bills, fueling bills, their, whatever bills you have, if you have domestic staff, if you have certification bills or feeding or groceries, or think about it. The way to grow is to make investment a bill. So it becomes part of your life. So as you're spending all of those money on those bills, investing is also a bill. And that's what I did with my friends. So it was more like, once the salary comes in like this, I knew that investing was a bill. So it was part of the things that I did not even have access to. So it was part of the money I can't even spend. Do you understand? So that's how you begin to work towards becoming an investor. An investor makes investing part of their lifestyle. Right? It's a lifestyle thing, because money is such an important tool. With my community called the Green Investment Club, we say that we help people know enough about money to live the lives they want. The goal is to live the life you want. It's not to have a stash of billions of dollars in a bank account. What's the point if you cannot use it to live the life you want? You want to live a life that is free, right? You don't have to worry about money. Then you need to, ensure that you have a plan for your money and begin to work towards that. And this is how you do it. Don't wait until you get the free fall, or somebody gives you money, or there's a bonus at work or something, or you're waiting until that. No, make it a bill. When the bonus comes, add it to it, right? That's how it works. So a financial plan is an elaborate plan for your life. How many more minutes do I have? A financial plan is an elaborate plan for your life. And then an investment plan. Sorry?
To me, you may have to. Enough, actually, as much as we're really enjoying your presentation, but we may have to start rounding up, please.
All right.
Thank you.
So let's move quickly into creating wealth through investment plans. It's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you preserve, right? A lot of people think that I have to earn $1 billion or something to begin to start investing. No, it's about how much you preserve from what you earn. And really the goal here, this is a very important slide, and I want you to really focus on this. The goal is to convert efficiently. This is how you build an investment portfolio. Earned income is based on your time and your effort, right? You go to work, you spend time, you work 9 to 5, you put in your hours, put in your time and effort, and you're rewarded with income, earned income. You earn it based on your time and your effort. But guess what? If your income is only earned income based on your time and effort, if that's the only kind of income you earn, your income will always be limited by time. Right? What you want to do is transcend time. That's what investing helps you do. By converting your earned income to portfolio income, you're putting your money to work. So you can convert it to portfolio income, which is sort of stocks, all the money market, treasury bills, commercial papers, and all of that. And then you can also convert to passive income. This is where you find real estate, rental income, capital gains, and so many other interesting alternative investment options like you have now. This is how you do it. You convert earned income to portfolio income and passive income, right? Because if you do not do that, your income will always be limited by time, right? So the goal is always to convert efficiently. And then the next question people ask me is, what do I invest in? And I say, no, investing is not a product. Investing is a plan, right? You don't just say, okay, should I put my money in this treasury bills, stock market, real estate, or cryptocurrency, like it's a fad now? No. And I always use this analogy to explain. I say that I define my destination as Abuja, and somebody else, say Chooks, defines as a destination as Abuja as well. But guess what? I might decide to take a flight because I can afford the flight ticket, or I'm not afraid of flying and I'm not afraid of risk. Chooks might decide to take a flight, or might decide to take the night bus. I might decide to take the night bus as well, depending on whatever our preferences are. So if you take the night bus, it assumes that, oh, you're fine with the road trip. You're not scared of whatever happens on the road. You would read a book or something, and you just want to take it slow and conservative all the way to Abuja. Guess what? Either whoever takes a bus, whoever takes a flight, we will still get to Abuja, because Abuja is a defined destination, but we took different vehicles, right? And that's how investing works. Investing is a plan towards your destination. I'm working towards this plan. But then the products, the options are all vehicles. Somebody else might decide real estate is a vehicle I want to use. Somebody else might decide I want to use the stock market as a vehicle. Somebody else might decide on a combination of the stock market or real estate, the money market. It's all about vehicles, right? So there's just not, you don't have to use one vehicle. You might decide to use one vehicle, it's fine, right? But really, you have to have a basket of investment options at a certain point in time as you grow. Bill Gates didn't just make his money from Microsoft. A lot of people think that that's the way he made his money, right? Trust me, when he left Microsoft, he sold a good number of his shares. Bezos is also doing that right now, and put it into an investment vehicle that invests in multiple assets around the world. That's the way he has made his wealth and income sustainable. That is the way he keeps on being one of the richest men in the world. Excuse me, by continuously investing. It's not just because it's not just money from Microsoft that he's still making money from, right? And because think about it, if his income was only based on the shares of Microsoft, it will be very volatile because stocks go up and go down every other day. But he took a big chunk out and diversified into real estate, multiple businesses, and that's how he runs the foundation. That's where he gets the money to run the Bill and Gates Foundation, in addition to donations, at least from his friends. So of course, the next question is, I might not have enough money. What do I do? Which is my story. But in life and in business, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. What am I saying here? Think about investment clubs. Investment clubs is how you collaborate to achieve your goals. You might think that, oh, some of the things that I want to invest in, I cannot afford it now. Then you don't have to wait. Stop waiting. Collaborate. Why? He gives you a bigger pool of cash. You invest in bigger deals, you get higher returns, right? Because a lot of times when you have more cash, you're able to negotiate for better returns, and you can also spread your risk. There's no point taking all of the risk by yourself. And I would just share that there are different models of investment clubs. There's a financial model, where the members contribute funds to a common purse and make investment decisions together. There's the project-based model, where you have a specific project like real estate or venture capital or private equity, and it's project-based, right? There's also the non-financial model. And I have implemented all of these models in different ways and forms. So my financial model was when I started with 4 friends. We started that in 2013, and then the project base I implemented with a group of women, and this non-financial model is the TGIC. I'm breaking it down. The project model, like I said, was 40 women, and over a period of 2 years, they worked towards owning 4 hectares of land in Ibejuleki. I managed that project, and it was remarkable what you can achieve when women come together to do something. Young people can come together to do that as well in real estate. Right. And of course, with the Green Investment Club, this is our story, how we became Nigeria's largest investment club and how I led the club to mobilize $70 million for investment over a period of 3 years. Basically, it's a story of many. It's an accountability group, but what we have done is help our members, 1,700 members, invest actively. And these members are Nigerians and diaspora, resident in 26 countries, right? But the goal is building investment portfolios, and we've been able to successfully do that over the past 3 years. For us, we're going into the next phase, and I'm looking forward to that. But if you look across the world as well, this investment club turned $3,000 to $500,000, right? US military veterans came together and they did this, right? There's also the interesting story of the Mutual Investment Club of Detroit. What they did was they built up over a period of time $6 million in assets together. And what's amazing about the story is eventually they all started to withdraw for the college education of their children, for retirement, so many things. So they were able to withdraw $4 million. That's amazing wealth, right? Coming together to collaborate and build wealth. My final thoughts: take a look at your results today. Are they the results you want in your finances, right? Results do not happen when your actions are not aligned. They have to be very aligned with your goals. You cannot set a goal that you want to earn $1 million in 1 year, and you cannot even begin to save what 500,000 naira a month. I mean, 500,000 a month is $1,000. That's how bad the naira is, right? Right? $500,000. 500,000 naira is $10,000. Okay, yeah. $100 is 50,000. 1,000 is 500. Okay, I'm getting
You were actually
but
right. It's almost
yeah,
$1,000.
you get it. 500,000 naira, $1,000. That's how bad it is. And 1 million, you
Yeah.
know. So if you want to work towards $1 million a year, you have to actively start investing, in dollars, not even in naira anymore. So are your actions aligned with your goals? You get it? You can't be setting a massive goal and your actions are like, they have to match. It has to be aligned. So results happen when you take concrete action towards your goals. You have to take concrete action. You have to start investing, get financially educated, join a community if you don't want to do it yourself, start an investment club with your friends. Your social circle can become a money circle, right? And that's how you build up over time. So take action today. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tomi, for that wonderful presentation and the charge to every one of us. Seems like investment clubs are the future, the way to go. I don't know, can everyone see? Okay, I think my video is off. Turning it on now. So basically, I think I'll just ask you one question before we go to the next presentation, and hopefully you still stay back with us so that we can interact more on how best we can invest our various funds. So previously, in the course of your presentation, you had talked about, it's not about how much you earn, but how much you preserve. And my thoughts around this as well, growing up, our parents instilled in us that savings culture, and it's also a means of preservation, so to speak. But I would like to hear a bit more, your own thoughts around savings versus investing and the inherent risk that are associated with investing, because you could basically lose all your money basically. So just your thoughts around those two.
Right. Saving. Right. Savings is something that is very important that you should do, but you cannot stop at savings. That's because that's not how you put money to work. And I always say this, we work really hard. A lot of us work really hard. We work 9 to 5. Or if you're running your business, you work really hard. When you earn that money and you save it, you're basically putting that money to rest, but that money should be working. Investing is how you put your money to work. And the fact that you even live in a country like Nigeria means that if all you're doing is saving and putting your money in the bank, you're losing money every day. Why? Inflation rate seems to always, keeps going up at 18%. So in a savings account, you're getting what, 1%. That means you're losing 17% every day, because as food prices go up, so your expenses going up. The naira is also losing value, right? We've lost value over the past 15 to 18 months, like crazy, right? So the naira is losing value compared to stable currencies in the world. So you can't afford to just simply save. You have to be investing as well. So investing is risky, right? Across the board, there's no investment without risk, but there's an approach to investing that helps you manage your risk. Basically understanding yourself, right? Who am I as an investor? Am I someone who is a passive investor, active investor? Am I a mix of the two? I can be passive on some, I can be active on some. You also have to understand your stage of life. Someone who's in their 20s will be investing very differently from someone in their 30s or 40s. Someone who's in their 20s and married will be investing very differently from someone who's in their 20s and not married, because as you get married and have children, it comes with additional responsibilities. Your stage of life is also an important factor. There's also your risk appetite. How much risk can you take? Are you a medium to conservative risk person, or you're someone who's aggressive and open to risk? All of those factors come into play on how you build your investment portfolio, okay? And so we always teach an approach to investing that ensures that you're managing your risk, because there's a difference between willingness to take risk and ability to take risk. For some people, you might think that I'm very open to taking risk, but the fact that you are able to take risk doesn't mean it is right for you. Or rather, the fact that you're willing to take risk doesn't mean you're able to take risk. So for instance, I had a client who told me that he had like, I think 4 or 5 million in savings, and he put it in a very risky investment option and lost all his money. And I'm like, the fact that you're able to take that risk does not mean you should have taken it. Why? Because you're married with 2 young children. So you losing all of that savings was a major problem, because at that stage of life, you should not be doing that, right? So the fact that you're able to take risk does not mean that you should take it, right? So there's a difference between your willingness to take risk and your ability to take risk. So all of those factors come into play when you're thinking about investing, and that's the whole masterclass, right? So I can take that today.
Yeah, thank you. We'll hold that thought, and we'll have our next speaker, and then we can carry on with the rest of the discussion. Thank you so much, Tomi, for the insightful presentation. So our very next speaker here is by the person of Mr. Boju Akimbade. He's a writer, a design and communications entrepreneur who creates experiences designed to unlock and unleash hidden human potential. That's amazing. He's a convener of Africa's largest technology gathering, Tech Plus, if most of us know that. At his core, Bonju believes our physical and digital worlds are no longer mutually exclusive. An alumnus of Obafemi Awolowo University, Nigeria, and Middlesex University in London, he has also studied in Goldsmiths, Harvard, and Stanford. He's a frequent speaker and has co-authored several books and manuals on innovation, leadership, ethics, design, and business in Africa. That's like a whole lot of skills packed in one person. He co-founded the design firm Image and Time, a company that has been recognized with numerous awards, including the Peaches Award in 2 years in a row. Following this, the agency set up Escape, a social action vehicle focused on positively influencing the immediate and wider community through educational intervention programs. Through Tech Plus, Escape is engaging young people within developing communities trapped by the limitations of their socio-economic circumstance. And may I welcome to the stage Boju, who will be taking us through on thriving in a post-pandemic world, problem solving and design thinking skills. Please, the floor is yours, Bonju.
Thank you very much, Elsie, and thank you for inviting me here today. The time is 2:19. I've been given 15 minutes, so I will try to stick to time.
Yes, actually, yeah, 15 minutes, please.
Don't worry, I'll
Thank
even do
you.
it in 10. I'll do you a favor. I'll do Tomi a favor.
Oh, fantastic. Please give us 5 minutes back. Thank you so much. Please go ahead.
All right. So I want to thank Dr. Miriam for her very wonderful session on clarity, and Dr. Ibrahim as well for putting perspective to what we would need to put together when we are looking to get money from investors. And of course, I really enjoyed Tomi's session. That was wonderful. So for today, like I said, what can you discuss in 15 minutes? Well, 10 minutes now. The first thing is I would want to look at what a post-pandemic world is. I want to look at what problem solving and design thinking can be and how we frame that. Then we'll discuss thriving, and then I'll just quickly wrap up. So a post-pandemic world, we can all identify with this. It's a world of face masks, sanitizers, but more importantly, a new culture. I think it's a Netflix world. Most of us really consumed the Vela Ciao, during the lockdown. I know I did. And for the first time, started paying a Netflix subscription. Before I used to borrow subscription, but then, thought, start paying for that. So there were a lot of winners in this world. So people like GoCarda, Max NG switching into logistics and delivery. And, so you find, many people taking advantage of, what this new world is. But then there were many losers. So live sports lost a lot, hospitality lost a lot. You found football clubs looking for money to pay for their stars, empty stadiums, even up till today. Imagine, the ecosystem there. So if you're a food vendor or a jersey printer, or even someone that just sold the match of the day booklets, all those earnings wiped out to zero. And then if you think about the corporate world, there were also some, whilst we could say there were some gains, in the sense that maybe our expenditure, dropped, which is why Tomi say, some people were ready and prepared to invest. But for some of us, we lost things like chance encounters. And chance encounters are, I think, a big miss for people that work in physical spaces. So if you think about Google, for example, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, they met by chance because Larry was taking a tour of Stanford and Sergey was the one, conducting the tour. Think about Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, the founders of Apple. Again, just in the neighborhood, Wozniak was washing his car, met with Steve Jobs, and Apple was created. Or if you're a music lover, if you think of the Beatles, if you're old enough to know the Beatles, so Paul McCartney and John Lennon, again, chance encounters. So when we miss those chance encounters, and that's why I just want to, encourage the organizers of this event, because this is a crucial part of, our career and thriving. It's in finding these environments where we can still network and we can still meet, even though we can't physically bump into each other as much as we used to before. But the world is opening up, so I guess it's going to be all good from there. So let's move to problem solving, design thinking. Unfortunately, this is a class you can take on Acumen, or you could go to ideo.com. Ideos are the founders of design thinking. But in a nutshell, just ask 4 questions. What is, what if, what works, and what wows. That is design thinking. It is being customer focused, or at least empathizing enough, with the problem to be able to come up with a solution. That's design thinking in a nutshell. If you think about paradigm shifts, so at one point in time, people thought the earth was flat. Then there was a paradigm shift. People, rode in horse-drawn carriages, and then somebody came up with the car. And that was another chance encounter, by the way, when Thomas Edison met with Henry Ford, but we won't go into that. So in this post-pandemic world, what are the paradigm shifts, the mind-blowing things that we have seen, and as individuals, we can tap into? So yes, we can invest our money in these opportunities, or we can invest our sweat in these opportunities. And our speakers before have elaborated on this. So I'll just touch on how we look at this industrial revolution or post-industrial revolution. So in any economy where you see communication, technology, transportation coming together, then you see that there's a shift. Let's look at thriving, and let's look at some stats with that in mind. So we know Nigeria is a mobile-first country. And we've said already a post-pandemic world is a digital-first world. So 99% of Nigerians have a mobile phone of some sort, and that's an amazing stat, unbelievable. Most of those phones are actually smartphones, and thanks to China, if you don't love China, you have to love China for what they've done. For us, developing worlds, we're able to leapfrog because of access to technology. Then our internet, most people consume internet on their phones. And even if you have hardwired line to your house, you will still probably buy data. So 92% of us use mobile data. And then 50% of all mobile phone users are actually internet users. So just because you have a smartphone doesn't mean you actually use the smartphone features or you use the internet. So those are amazing stats. And people that thrive in this lockdown, all the fintechs, for example, it's been told now that Nigeria is the fintech capital of the world. So Shola Akinlade and Ezra, the founders of Paystack, acquired by Stripe, or at least funded by Stripe, they've moved on to unicorn status. And not just them, my namesake GB of Flutterwave, done amazing as well. Michel Elegbe and his founder and his partners at InterSwitch, they've also grown this company. And so when you think about the mobile device and you think about payments, you're able to then see what a post-pandemic world can do, where most of us now are comfortable transacting and running e-commerce on our devices. Another trend, this is Mr. Macaroni. I'm not really good with, influencers, but unfortunately I have to work with him, so that's why I'm using him. So Mr. Macaroni, for example, if you think about what has happened post-pandemic, and we spoke about people on Netflix, it's that now content is more snackable, but it's now more consumable. And investing in content, is, I think, a very good way to go. I think content is like the new agriculture, because it's always consumed. And so you have these young people now who are influencers, whether they are micro-influencers or nano-influencers. Matter of fact, everyone on this call is probably an influencer of some sort and is able to leverage that. So if you think about Tomi that spoke, Tomi would have a following, and anything she says, she will influence that following. So if you can't do what Tomi is doing, I'm pretty sure you can do great in comedy. There's something you're going to say that's going to be funny, and you can create your own audience and build that. Someone like Donald Trump did great as well with content. So if Donald Trump can do it, you can do it too. That's what I want to say. Then I'll just quickly touch on art and NFT. I think there was a big craze around this. And this happened a few months ago when a young Nigerian tweeted a picture she had drawn of the founder of Etiquette. And he then sold that tweet for, I think, $6,000, but giving all the money back to her. And it then started this trend, on NFTs. So NFTs are also something we've seen in a post-pandemic world. Finally, this is Dr. Sid. If you don't know Dr. Sid, he's a musician, but he's also a pioneer when it comes to esports. And when I spoke about sports earlier and stadiums, shutting down, then you then have the rise of, esports. And so you have titles like Fortnite. If you know Fortnite, then you're young enough. If you don't know Fortnite, then you're probably, my age and older. So titles like Fortnite, raking in billions. You have FIFA and the rest and the tournaments. So Red Bull sinking into that. But more importantly, if you think about schools and after school clubs, what they all had to do was switch to one form of esport or the other. And for, again, people that were prepared for this post-pandemic world were able to leverage on that. So then you started having many clubs that were digital, but parents now a bit more relaxed, with kids spending time playing games. So I think for those that are in the energy sector, it will be important to also note that I think you can look at the startup world. And there are many startups that, like Dr. Ibrahim spoke about, that would get funding based on their ability to solve problems. So I worked with a startup a while ago called Beacon, and they were in the upstream sector, but at least they're still related. And they were just putting sensors everywhere. So they had sensors so you could monitor your consumption of fossil fuels, and then you could, order via an app, you could see it, you could track it. It's not too far-fetched for young engineers on this call today. So to conclude, find a problem to solve. Any problem will do. Try to understand the realities of the post-pandemic world. So understand that we're a digital first nation, mobile first nation, and anything as simple as content you can get in, it's a low barrier to entry. But if you're more comfortable, then you can dig a little deeper and then find people, you've got Dr. Miriam, Dr. Ibrahim, you've got Tomi, people that can actually help contribute to the thing you want to do, and then blitz scale, run with it. Move fast, break things. Thank you very much, Elsie. That's the end. For those that like the slides, please go to Slides Go. If you want icons, flat icon. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Bonji, for that. I like your ending comments. Move fast, break things, disrupt, be a disruptor, basically. So thank you. I have, one question for you before we move on and probably check if we still have time to have the integrated panel session. So basically, so you are into, the media and communications sector, and, just like the energy industry, that sector seems to be undergoing some transition, majorly digital, and of course, like you mentioned, the pandemic transitioning as well. How would you describe, how your business have thrived in this period of, great uncertainty, and what sort of life hacks would you like to leave, the SPE young professionals with, even as we face similar terrain?
Okay, thank you very much. So 2020 was our best year financially. We were digital ready. I think we were lucky for that. What we see is, again, trends. So the first thing we discovered in the communication space, it usually took about 100 million naira to shoot a TV commercial, and you had to fly to South Africa to shoot it with a South African director. Now, Mr. Macaroni's team will shoot that for less than $1 million, $1.5 million, the same commercial. So we've gone into more storytelling and more micro content and things like that. I think everyone on this call is able to spot these trends, even in the energy sector. So when I spoke about logistics earlier, it's looking at what happened to Gokada, Max Energy, and the government intervention to try to shut them down. And then the pandemic coming, and then they switched into pure logistics, and they're thriving today. So I think what we saw was this opportunity to move into micro content, to tell more stories, and to work with young content creators to help brands grow. In the tech space, it was the same thing. It was to find a way to, on the service side, get young talent to outsource their service, working remotely, but also in building, to find people who are already building and doing great things, and then to invest in them. So we were able to bring out a few products to market. Some were more B2B products, but again, using young talent to sort of leverage the opportunity, which we couldn't do before. Prior to this time, when we ran experiences, we would have to run them physically. But now, we're able to speak to people virtually. So we're able to get many speakers from across the world to join some of the experiences we create for brands, whether it's learning sessions and the rest. So yeah, I think that's what I'll stop there. Thanks, Elsie.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Thank you for that. And I like the part you mentioned around, utilizing young people and making use of their skills, basically. I don't know if we still have Dr. Ibrahim on the call. Dr. Ibrahim, could you unmute your mic so we know you're still on the call? Okay, seems we don't have him anymore. But one question I would like to, and this is a request by one of the participants, to direct my earlier question to Tomi Balogun, to someone else, especially on the habit of saving vis-a-vis investing, and of course the risk associated with that. So for you, Abonju, you are an entrepreneur. I would like to hear your own perspective around, savings, which is a culture that has been imbibed in most of us. And now we're hearing we need to invest more. We need to move more into investment clubs. Good to hear your perspective.
You will hate my perspective because I am anti almost. So number one, I don't believe in budgets. Let me tell you that. But I believe in what Tomi said, which is you must track your expenses. So that is a kind of budget. And she hit the nail on the head when she spoke about frugality. I think it's frugality that I struggled with. So before, as the pandemic hit, the first thing we did was we started increasing salaries, and we increased salaries across board. So I run an organization, I have 45 employees, and then in the larger group, we have 250 employees. So increasing salaries was anti what was happening, but we had seen the trend, and we knew that what we needed to do was motivate, work well. And with that, I think investing in people, for me, is a primary, it's a primary goal. So like what Tomi spoke about, and I keep talking about what Tomi spoke about. You see, when you join an investment club, you're actually investing in people, right? If you want to go far, you've got to go with people. People are the number one investment. So find someone who's doing something great, and if you can't put your time in, put your money in it. So I'm sure people will have friends that are, doing things in a small way, and they need either some sort of acceleration or even some sort of incubation. If you have a space in your house, bring them, oh, use my space, and then watch them grow, invest in that. But if you move outside of people and outside of investing in these kind of opportunities, then yes, I think the verticals that Tomi has outlined, real estate, the stock market, there's bamboo, piggy vest. My wife she's a champion for piggy vest. Lock the money in and then get this into. So there are some simple, safe things. What you must not do is MMM. Money doubling does not exist, and even if it does exist, just run away from it.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Bonju, for that. I think right now we are actually over time. It's been an amazing, insights that we have gained from our speakers, and I would like to thank them so much. Thank you so much, Bonju. Thank you, Tomi. Thank you, Miriam, and thank you, Dr. Ibrahim, for making out time to be with us today. I for sure I've gained so much from this, and I'm sure definitely I'm going to think about deeply how I preserve my money, and not just by saving, but also by investing. And also, like Bunju said, looking at trends, what are the trends happening in our current industry, whether it's the energy industry you're looking at or manufacturing industry that you're looking at. You first need to know the trends in that sector. And that also speaks to what Dr. Ibrahim also mentioned. So know the trends, be familiar with your competitors, and most especially, in the words of Bonju, do it fast and break things, shake tables, be a disruptor. All right, so I think we'll move on to the next segment, and this is a really good one, which in my view sort of gives us the opportunity to apply, all the different concepts and perspectives and principles we've sort of heard today from our different speakers. And this is basically moving into the business pitch session. And for this business pitch session, we have our various judges who will be judging the pitchers or the presenters. I actually like this section because I'm a huge fan of Dragon's Den. If you're familiar with Dragon's Den, we're basically going to do an SP Dragon's Den here today. And we'll be having three different pitchers who will be pitching their idea today. Unfortunately, because of time, I wouldn't give Chooks. I hope you don't mind me introducing this session so that we run along with time. So basically, we have three pitchers who will be presenting their business ideas. Some of them are already existing business ideas, and some are, basically in the ideation phase. And we'll be hearing from them what their business plans are like. There are key criteria, judging criteria that our dragons for today will be using to judge our pitches, and they will take us through on their various presentation. So now let's meet our dragons. So the very first dragon, unfortunately, we'll just go straight up into the pitching events, and then we can take the icebreaker much later. So the very first dragon that we have is by the person of Engineer Pringle Ebe. Pringle is someone I know personally from my university days. Pringle is a serial entrepreneur. He has built a wealth of experience in software development. Joined the Cypher Crescent as a petroleum software engineer. He has also organized several training events for us here in SP Lagos. He holds a bachelor's degree in electrical and electronics engineering from the University of Port Harcourt and an MSc in oil and gas computing from the Robert Gordon University, Aberdeen. And also an innovation diploma. That's quite an interesting one. I haven't heard that. An innovation diploma in petroleum geoscience from Laser Geoscience School in Port Harcourt. And he's an industry lecturer and a software coordinator at the Institute of Petroleum Studies. He's an active member of SP. Thank you, Pringle, for being our very first dragon for today.
Thank you, Elsie.
Yeah. So the very next dragon that we have in our midst, and please pardon me to use the word dragon or judges, is Butimelo. She's an oil and gas and energy professional, and she's also an entrepreneur. She's a young professional member of the Society of Petroleum Engineers International. She's a serial volunteer. She's actually from SPE South Africa section. So it's good to collaborate with you. Thank you for joining us. She has a BSc in geology and MSc in engineering with specialization in oil and gas engineering. She's a candidate at the WITS Business School for Master of Management in the field of energy leadership. She uses her credentials, knowledge, experience, and expertise in oil and gas and in energy to serve government, private sectors, civil society, professionals, graduate women, children, and youth. No wonder she's here with us today. Thank you so much, Butimelo, for joining us today as our second dragon. And then last but definitely not the least, our third dragon for today is Edwin Enwebara. Edwin is also an entrepreneur and the managing director of a solo shop Nigerian Limited. He's also a director at Exwell Nigerian Limited. He's a chartered he's a chartered mechanical engineer by education and has practiced in the fields of water supply and renewable energy. He has a Master's of Engineering from the University of Sheffield and is currently undertaking a doctorate in business administration at the Warwick Business School with a focus on strategy, organization, and people. Thank you so much, Edwin, for joining us today as the third dragon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we will go straight up. Okay, so we'll go straight up into the business pitch. And like I mentioned, we have three pitchers who will be taking us through on their business pitch. And the very first on the list is Jackson Obona, who will take us through on his business idea called Book Tech. Jackson, the floor is yours. You can go ahead and share your slides. So basically, we have 10 minutes at the touch of the clock. 10 minutes. We'll have to cut in, and we can take 5 minutes for Q&A from our dragons. Thank you. Do we have Jackson on the call? Okay, I don't seem to find Jackson on this call. Please, can someone locate him? Okay, so without wasting time, I think we'll just move on to the next presenter, and then please, the technical team, try and get Jackson in so we can have his business pitch. So the next business pitch idea we would hear is from Chinedu Nwosu, and he'll be taking us through on his business idea called Laura. So Chinedu, if you're on the call, please do go ahead and share your screen and take us through on your business idea. You have 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Sorry, please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, please.
Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Chinedu Wonsu, and today I will be presenting my business called Laura. So on average, about 85% of working class individuals spend within 4 to 5 hours per day on transit outside the regular 8 hours of 8 hours of work required by their employer. And this is actually separate from the about average 6 hours that they actually spend while sleeping and all, bringing down to about less than 4 hours that they have to do other personal activities that relates to their livelihood. And this becomes very difficult for them to actually create time to, go down to have their necessary shopping for the necessary items that they basically need. And what we're actually looking at here for is to actually find efficient ways that we can make our customers have better shopping experiences compared to when they have to go through the tussle and hassles of getting their necessary grocery items in the market through experience of the traffic they get and the overcrowding market environment. And the products we're looking at here is Laura. And Laura is basically an on-demand grocery delivery service that provides customers with better shopping experience. So we connect our customers to a digital twin of the various markets in their neighborhood, where they're able to make other placements of various grocery items that they need. And we get our personal shoppers who are like our eyes and feet in the market to make this shopping for them. Then we actually have that integrated with our partnered logistic delivery services, that would help in delivering these items promptly to our customers. Now, there are several competitors that actually are in this space. We have the likes of One Kiosk Africa, we have the likes of Price Pally, we have the likes of Supermart Nigeria, we have the likes of the Market Food Shop and the likes of Jumia. However, this group of competitors, have several different models of operation, most of which are actually presented in such a way that they serve individuals. But for a particular package, for a particular solution, we're looking at serving both our individual customers as well as businesses. And we have certain competitive advantage that actually makes us stand out compared to our respective competitors. One is that we provide a personalized services where our customers have the ability to communicate directly with our personal shoppers and having a real feel of what they expect and what they want. Also, we actually give our customers very affordable the items that they require at a very affordable prices compared to the high price markups of the existing competitors. We also have a unique package we call Food Share. So there's a little survey we did, and we've discovered that on average, a family of about 5+ members spend about 3,750 naira weekly on the consumption of rice, and that is equivalent to about the worth of two bags of rice under the space of 4 months. So we're looking at a way to we added a feature that makes it very possible for individuals and families to share whole products with family members or with people within a neighborhood, making it very affordable and getting the value of their money. So we also are going to be giving out. We also have a service. We also have the advantage of delivering the required grocery items promptly within the space of 3 hours, of order. And this is done with the implementation of our intelligent logistic model, where we have different logistics services that are actually assigned at different respective markets per neighborhood, making it very easy for the shoppers to actually deliver these items to the logistics services and getting across to the required customers within the particular area. And we also create a market digitization of the respective markets in the neighborhood, making it possible for our customers to actually go to market while being at home, access this market with just a click of their mobile device. And our business model is quite very simple. We're looking at actually having delivery charges as well as membership charges and a price markup. For our delivery charges, will be for orders above 5,000 naira, will be charged delivery of about 700 naira for a planned 3 hours delivery. And for deliveries that are expected to be under 1 hour based on urgency, we expect to charge. We'll be charging delivery charges of about 1,000 naira. Then for orders under 5,000 naira, we'll be charging a delivery fee of about 1,000 naira. Under 2 hours, Then for orders from the mainland to the island, we'll be actually charging based on the volume of the product. And for businesses that will require our services, we'll be charging based on the volume of the product as well. Then we also actually have a membership charge where we create a kind of monthly subscription for our customers, where they have the option to actually pay about 5,000 naira per month to have free deliveries during this particular period, as well as 60,000 naira in a yearly term for us to actually have, for them to actually have a free delivery service of any grocery items promptly. And this is under some terms and conditions. So for the products that are being purchased on our platform, we have a price mark of about 1% to about 10%, which is varying based on the volume and the pricing of the product. So the market size is quite very large. So the value of the food and grocery market in Nigeria is valued as of 2020 to be about $142 million. And the value of the food and grocery market in West Africa is valued above $5 billion. So our target market is basically the population of Lagos and the numerous numbers of markets, which is about 30 markets, major markets in Lagos State. So our target market segmentation involves the individuals between the age of 21 and above, comprising of working class individuals, as well as students who live in areas where they have high price markup of products because of the location of these institutions. We also are targeting families for our food share feature in our application, as well as retailers and local stores that will be requiring the sales or the goods or items from the wholesalers and the rest. And we're also targeting farmers in order to get very affordable grocery items, food items for our customers. Then our market strategies will involve implementing digital marketing, as well as partnership with several logistic companies and other brands that are needed for us to actually bring this solution to the limelight. We'll also be implementing the price penetration strategy to actually give our customers very affordable products. We're giving free shopping vouchers and incentives to actually give our customers a good view to make and patronize our products, as well as be implementing some word of mouth to ensure that we have on the ground patronage from various customer segmentations that we have. So for our funding, we require about 2 million naira that will be used for a 12 months financing, which will help us to reach about 18,250 other transactions, and we'll be able to generate over 109 million naira during this particular period with a profit of about 3.7 million naira. And this is going to be done under the space of during the presence of about 5 markets in Lagos State. And this is a timeline divided into 5 phases upon our launch. So for the first phase, we'll be launching the first market during the month of August, where we actually hope to achieve our milestone of about 10 orders, maintaining 10 orders per day. Then we actually, once we're able to achieve the milestone, as well as other factors that are not highlighted here, we proceed to the next market and replicate that across all the 5 markets, in our first year. And for our scale forecast, we're looking at having for our first year, we're looking at having a number of markets, having about 5 markets with a targeted daily order requests of about 10, which would help us to generate about a total revenue of 109,500,000 and total profit of about 3.5 million in our first year. And for our second year, we'll be looking at reaching out to about 15 major markets in Lagos, and with also maintaining at least 10 other requests per market, and having a total revenue of about over 330 million, while having a profit of about 7.6 million naira. While in the third year, we'll also be looking at having a reach to about 30 markets, while maintaining at least 10 other requests per day, and having up to about 15.2 million naira in the third year. Now, this is also subject to the amount of funding we actually we're going to be raising before initiation. Once we're able to once we're able to realize the amount of funding needed, there is every possibility based on our the monitoring of our of our successes in the first 5 months, we'll be able to see how well we could actually upscale and scale as fast as possible. And for the team, this is myself.
You have just a minute left.
For the team, you just have myself, the CEO, with experience in data analysis as well as market research. Then we also have the CTO with over 5 years of experience in technological operation, as well as my Chief Operating Officer with vast experience in project management as well as technical solutions. This is separate from the other teammates that have proficiencies in areas of marketing and other needed services that would bring the solution to limelight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chinedu, for that wonderful business idea that you've pitched. I will not get involved in the Q&A, but I'll leave the floor open for the next 5 minutes to our dragons to ask you any questions for clarifications.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, good evening, Chinedu. Edwin speaking here. Thank you for that presentation. It's quite interesting.
Thank you very much.
My first question is, you have a projected revenue of 109 million,
Yes.
which you plan to get from, I think, 18,000 customers.
18,000 other requests.
Okay, sorry, 18,000 orders. I mean, how do you arrive at that revenue value for the first year?
Okay, so let me go back here. Okay, so basically, we're looking at an average of about 10 order requests per market, and we have an average spending per order of about 6,000. Now, the reason why we're making use of 6,000 is because most likely some of the orders might be below 5,000, but we also intend to also serve businesses that would have spending rates of above 10,000, above 20,000 per order request. So that's why we give the minimum, the barest minimum in our estimations to arrive at this particular number. And we also made our projections based on the minimal number of target orders that we could actually receive per market. And in this respective market, we know that we receive, there are hundreds of transactions that occur, on a daily basis.
Okay, do we have any further questions from other dragons?
Yes, Elise, I have a question.
Okay.
So, Chinedu, you mentioned that your team will be looking at 3 hours delivery frame time, right?
Yes.
And how you'll be interacting and connecting all the various stores. So my question is, how will you deal with situations where you find out that what I'm ordering online, it shows up as being out of stock? How will that affect the delivery time frame? Because I'm just trying to think that, if it's out of stock, but I need it, and you are linked to other several stores, how would you interact there to ensure that everything still fits in within that 3 hours?
Okay, so thank you very much for the question. So basically, like I said, we have personal shoppers that are more like our eyes and feet in the respective markets. So we gather information from them as well as from this particular stores. Now, the idea of the delivery now is this. So in the case where a customer makes an order on a product, the personal shopper, the personal shopper gets to go on the ground to make the purchase of these items while giving it across to the logistics services. Now, the reason why we actually placed our delivery to be between 3 hours is because our intelligent approach to our delivery services is based on the numerous markets we have are spread across different locations in Lagos State and divided into two sections. We have the island and we have the mainland. Now, in the respective markets, we intend to have logistic vendors that handles a particular market area, making it possible for us to, on time, within the space of about 30 minutes, get the required other services and deliver to the nearest neighborhood. And the way the platform works is that it suggests stores and markets that are nearest to the customer's location in order to actually have more and earlier timely delivery. Because we believe that every product that you intend to get in market A, you should be able to get in market B.
All right,
okay.
thank you for that.
Hello?
All right, thank you. And any last question?
I have a question. Yeah, this Pringle here. Chinedu, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Apparently, a very good, nice presentation. I'm just speaking from an investment perspective because I want to invest on this business with 2 million naira. You're trying to let me know that in how many months I'm going to make 100. I think I agree with my first speaker, my first judges says, how do you intend to achieve this? Now, my first question here is, what is your barriers, your risks and constraints in this business? Apparently you're going to source this item from the market before you get to delivery guy. I try to model this whole scenario from a Nigerian perspective, the Lagos model.
Yeah.
I go to the market, I need okra, I need beans, I need this item, and I need to source for this item. I send to delivery guy to deliver this in 30 minutes. I'm just trying to understand. And also the worst case now is, what is your worst case in this business? What if I invest this business, if I invest 2 million in this business and other things, other factors enter? How do I intend to manage this? Since I don't have strategy in the market, hoping on these people are also a risk factor too to me, because there are other businesses and most of the businesses have their own marketplace that they source for this item to the client, and you intend to rely on the delivery van to source for this item to the client. So if you can just throw more light on it, I think I'll be fine.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the question you pointed out. So basically, we're not relying on the logistics service or the logistic or the delivery guy to get the items from this particular stores. Now, for every of the products we intend to sell on our platform, we have respective vendors that are personal shoppers. We have validated and workable vendors that our personal shoppers are going to be working with. Now, in a case where an order is made, now our personal shoppers actually once we receive this request, our personal shoppers obtain this product from our vendors, like our store vendors. And once they do that, they get it across to our logistic delivery service that are within the markets. And based on our planned agreements with them, it's expected that they make the delivery across to our customers. Now, the reason why the timing is short is this. Now, most of these markets are actually within communities, and they are spread across different areas. Majority of the food items that people would intend to buy in bulk at cheaper places are in major market like Mile 12 markets. And in such areas, we actually make, we particularly imputed the food share scenario, whereby they can actually be able to buy more food at similar amount and more food at similar amount of what they spend when they overspend in the past trying to get from the stores within their neighborhood. So now the idea is these stores or these markets are within neighborhoods. And when for example, I need to get an item in Mushin Market and I reside somewhere within Mushin Market. So what the app does is that it pops out.
Pardon me, Chinedu, if I may jump in, can you round up in about 20 seconds?
Okay, so basically the orders are being prompted out based on the location. The markets that actually are suggested or that are prompted out for these deliveries are done based on the location of the customer. So once the request is being made, the stores nearest that has those products are being notified to actually make the delivery. So it makes it easy for us to have the prompt delivery.
Sorry, Chinedu. The stores you notify.
I mean the shoppers in the market itself.
Are they also digital? In as much as I want to invest in million?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Assuming a store woman that sells okra with a touchlight phone.
Yeah.
How do you notify
Okay. Now, yeah,
store?
exactly. That's why I said we have personal shoppers. So our personal shoppers are like the eyes and feet in the market. So those are our respective vendors. Like I said, we have creating a digital twin, not necessarily the real market, but a digital twin, which is operated by our personal shopper who gets to receive those notifications of items needed in the stores. So he outsources them from the stores. We understand that these women are not might not be technologically inclined. So that's why we have a personal shopper.
I'm still trying to understand this, because your personal shopper is
Hello,
Chinedu. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm still trying to understand. Your personal shopper, is it like a staff or
yes, a staff. A trained staff to understand how the model works. Yes. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Great.
Okay, this is back. Okay.
Okay, great. I thought I was speaking to myself for a while. Okay, so thank you so much. We've exhausted our time on that presentation, but thank you, Chinedu, for that wonderful presentation. So we'll go on to the very next presenter. So we'll go back to Jackson, who was supposed to be the first presenter. So Jackson Obonna will take us through on his business idea called Book Tech. Jackson, please share your screen and carry on. And please keep it to 10 minutes for your presentation, and we'll have 5 minutes for the Q&A.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Please carry on.
Thank you. So I'm grateful to be given this opportunity. So going in right away, I'm going to be pitching basically a success story which has the potential to be extremely more successful. This is a success story that started as an idea between 3 photo students in 2014. It's book tech. And at BookTech, we believe that the world can be made a better place using affordable software innovations through world-class software solutions for corporate and private individuals. We take up challenges to which we prefer lasting solution. I'm having difficulties moving to the next slide.
Hello, Jackson. We can't hear you, just in case you're still speaking. Can anyone else hear Jackson?
I think I can hear him too.
Okay, so it's not just me.
I think he's trying to troubleshoot his slide. He couldn't move his presentation.
Okay.
Seems like we've lost.
Yeah.
Okay, we've lost Jackson.
We need to go to the last
The
presenter.
next,
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
To conserve
Okay.
time.
So so we'll move on to the next presenter, and the next presenter here is by the name Chinoyelum Ejimuda. It's good to see a lady here, and she'll be presenting on her business idea, Semicons Technology. Interesting. Please, Chinayum, the floor is yours.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly. Please do share your screen and carry on.
It says you can share.
Please go ahead and share.
I know I'm trying that. It's telling me to unshare. Like it's telling you to unshare before I share my screen.
No, just click on the affirmative. Just click OK to go ahead and share.
I'd like to confirm if you can see my screen.
It's coming up from my end. Yeah.
So, good day, everyone.
So Chinoyenem, you have 10 minutes for your presentation, and your time starts now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Chinanya Mijimoda, and the name of our business is Semicons Technologies. Semicons Technologies is
can anyone confirm you can hear me or you can hear Chinoyenem?
I can hear you.
Sorry, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, so Semicons Technologies is a technological company founded by a team of engineers, which were undergraduates in school, and we had this vision whereby our motto is bridging the technological gap in Africa. So we believed that this dream would work, and we will not relent until it is realized. Next slide. So what is our problem statement? So we figured out that Nigeria, as a case study, lags behind technology. And then we had these various problem statements, which are as follows. So the low number of people interested in STEM or tech, the lack of tech community in West Africa, Nigeria, then availability of components. So here are the following solutions. So the first one is availability of components. So we actually need to trust us that we can actually have procure these electronic components by various vendors which have actually partnered. Currently, we're partnering with Hub 360 and then some other vendors in Oshodi Arena Market. So at the beginning, before we started this, I remember trying when we were trying to get components, we'll go into Oshodi, we'll go under the sun, pay for people who sell these, and they were very scarce people. So what we're trying to do is trying to bridge that gap between us, the client, and them, sorry, let me go back again. Us, the, sorry, I'm so sorry about that. Let me continue. So partnering with vendors actually to be that middleman to actually sell our components via our online community, our online site. So the next one is community. We have this community whereby, okay, whatever components you bought from us, you can actually come online and then ask us questions. You don't know how to connect this. You ask us questions that you're ready to answer you anytime. Then semicon certification, which is interest in STEM and IT. So we have this semicon STEM education for kids, for adults, for the old ones, so anyone of all ages, which will have to give them education either virtually or physically, any one of the sorts. We're ready to provide the services to everyone. So here are our organization. So here are the 7 founders of Semicons Technologies. So these are various people from different schools and different academic degrees with various skills. We came together from different schools, both private, public, federal universities. We came together to say, okay, what do you think about this? And then, so I can't really run down through it because I'm looking at the time. So I am Tomi Balogun with technological product designer. I studied mechanical engineering in school, and here are my various skills, SolidWorks, and so on and so forth. So these are various people who are ambition to solve this technological gap in Africa. So I'll move on to the next slide. So economics. So as the products and services are expected to serve diverse markets within and outside Nigeria, the expected revenue is estimated in millions because there's no visible competitor in the market as of now. The expected income and expenditure are stated in the tables below. So this is just for a year. So these are various products and services such as STEM education, virtual, physical, the online store, online community, STEM projects, technological designs, semicons customized kits. So we have our own customized kits by us. We actually package it and then we have our logo and everything with our products in it. But we also need investors and consultation fees. So some companies actually come to consult us and they need some ideas. So definitely that comes with a fee. So for the expenditure, these are various things we actually have to, that is leaving the company, such as the staff salary, the internship stipend. So, you know, we opened this company during the lockdown, and then we started embarking on accepting virtual interns, and then that is so on and so forth. So we also pay for website hosting per year, advertisements, and then so the packaging for the semicons customized kits. Yeah, we also need the printers and those who are going to design it for selling. So the milestones that sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so the milestones that we actually achieved from last year to this year are creating the platform, building a community by frequently featuring undergraduate and graduate projects, building partnerships with vendors, building partnerships with logistics industries, and then delivering our promise to our customers. So these are the various milestones for this business. So here is Semicons Technologies. This is our website, www.semicons.tech. You can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And then you can get us there. So this is our website, and so that is all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chinoyelim, for that presentation. And I will now hand over to our judges for any questions for clarifications.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening. Thank you very much for that presentation about time comes. Um, I've got two questions. The first one is you put up some numbers pertaining the projected income. How did you arrive at yeah, those numbers? The STEM education, you're talking about 1.2 million a month. How did you arrive at those? Because my understanding was that you're selling a product and not a service. So that was the first question. Second question is, do you think that your company is very heavily weighted on the technical side? How do you plan to do the sales, the marketing, the business development? Because it seems that everyone is very technical. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. So so your first question was saying, how do we, sorry, I don't know if you can.
How did you arrive at those income projections?
The income projections during the pandemic. So we had various schools that actually made us to teach them virtually. So we trained 100 kids for the period of 6 months. So I actually we actually put this together for that period of 2020. So we trained 100 kids in 6 months. Not only that, we did like a continuation of the education by making this was the stage one training. So we continued with the same number of kids, and that was it. Also, the online store, we actually had various components from those vendors, and then we put them together on the average amount that we receive per month and in a year at a stretch. For the second question you asked, you're like, sorry, I don't have a pen on me, so I didn't jot it down.
The second question was about the looking at the team you've put together. The weighting, it's very weighted on technical side. Do you think the team is well put together to build a successful business?
Okay, so for my opinion, yes, because currently we're training each other, and then we're also training other people. So we have this in-house training that we learn new things, and then we also have virtual interns under us. So not only that, we have various skills which we actually use we give out to consumers. So from my opinion, working with these people, so that's actually basically because from our own skills.
Hello.
Sorry. Yeah. So I don't know if I answered your question correctly.
Okay, can we move on? Any other questions from our judges?
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. My name is Pringo. My first question is, how do you intend to generate revenue? Because I'm looking at your expenses as a startup, paying intern 60,000 naira and the salary of 2.5 million. First is trying to see how you need to balance your capital expenses. And your solution you're trying to derive, is it like, are you building a product, or you're just creating a platform where I can exchange my electronic device to the end user, like the guys, undergraduate guys doing their project? I can run to your platform to get this product, or you're building this design for them from your company? I need to understand that, because and also you didn't let us know how much you're looking out for to start up this business. So if you can just get clarification, I think I'll be fine for the next question. Thank
Okay,
you.
so for the internships stipend, we actually currently have 3 interns at the moment. So that's why I put it like that, because we want to take at least 3 interns a year. So that was actually what we had in mind. So that's 3 interns for 6 months, 3 interns for the other 6 months. So that's what we had in mind, because we're still a startup. So you were asking of the yes, if we're going to actually design, if I went to design our product. So we have two things. So giving them, we have products that we're selling on our own online store. And we also have, we're also giving them services by training various people, either kids or old people or teenagers and so on.
Okay, so like how many staff do you have? Your salary base shows is 2.5 million naira for 30 million naira. Like how many staff? Because I'm coming into this business as an investor. So I want to just get some clarification on how much you think we can put into this business to move it to the next level.
So currently we're at 10, the number. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can
So
hear
I
you,
think
Chinoyere.
I can hear you.
number.
Yes.
I'm not sure we heard your response to the question.
So okay, he asked for the number of people right now. So we're at a number.
Your staff strength.
Sorry?
Your staff strength
Your
currently.
staff strength.
Okay,
Your staff
staff
strength.
strength. Actually answered that, but okay, I can go back again. So we have various skills, and we keep learning and unlearning every single day, and we train people. So just by training people and getting trained, we actually get better.
Chinoyere, apologies to jump in. So he is asking for the number of your staff. That's
Yes.
staff strength.
Okay, I said
So
10.
how many people? Okay, 10. Okay.
Yes.
So I think we're running out of time now. Do we have any more questions for Chinoyere?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Okay.
The staff, there's 10 members of staff, and I guess some of those people mentioned the team are members of staff. Are they also equity owners in the business? And my guess is, I mean, on average, you plan to pay each person 250,000 naira.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. I think that's where I'm really not comfortable. In as much as I'm a director, I'm earning 250,000 naira. So my question now here is, do you want us to invest or you're comfortable and it's not a startup business and you're comfortable running the business? So let's know what and what you need as an investor. Are you bringing investors or you're comfortable? Because a company that is paying the staff 250,000 naira seems that you're no more a startup.
Mm-hmm.
No. So the thing is,
so do we want to leave that as a food for thought, or the judges, will that form part of your judging criteria?
To form part of our judging criteria, please.
Okay,
Okay.
I think
All right,
I'll go with your solution. Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
All right.
Pardon? Is that part of the judging criteria, or you wanted
Yes.
to leave it for
No.
her as okay? All right. So, Chinoyere, please, if you could respond to the question.
Okay, so actually, the reason why is 250 is because I included the internship and everything. So the reason why it's 250 per month is because of so our products, we've been getting a lot of requests for various customers that want to actually buy our products online. I looked at the number of people that asked us. So last 2 months ago, we had about 400 people requesting for our products, and they would like to, but because we did not have the capital to get those products into the limelight, so which is why I'm here today and I'm pitching my business. So which is why I said this is an expected expenditure. So that's exactly what I had.
I have a last question again based on your answer. In as much as you're seeking for revenue on investors in, and I really need to understand at the end of the month, what's your revenue or profit after tax? If I'm expending 250,000 for salary, close to like 2 point something million naira. And I think I'm really very disturbed. Yeah, because now I'm an investor, I'm coming in with my money. I want to make sure that this money I'm bringing in, you use it to just share among your friends. Because I see that all your staff, they are already all investors too. and you're paying them, so what are they bringing to the table?
Okay, so all of these are actually written in our business model. We already had like the percentage of risk with the investors. So
Okay, all right. So I'll jump in here now. So I think the concern here basically is you might just be spending so much more than you are earning, right? So
Yes, I
your
agree with you.
expenditure
I
might
agree with
just
you.
be too much. Yes, so I think that's the feedback here. I think let's please permission, judges.
no, actually, if you look at it, the total actually from what I'm seeing here is not the income is actually more than the expenditure. Okay.
So so now we'll give Jackson one more trial to take us through on his presentation. So Jackson, please, over to you.
Thank you very much for bearing with me. Had a few internet problems. So back to the presentation. Basically, I'm here to talk about a startup which came on board in 2014, just as a mere idea amongst 3 photo students. And we have evolved and weathered the storm to this day. And I'm here to show you how we have evolved. First of all, let me introduce BookTech. At BookTech, we believe the world can be made a better place using affordable software innovations. Through world-class software solutions for corporate and private individuals, we take up challenges to which we prefer lasting solutions. Now, my name is Jackson Ogbonna, and I'll be telling you a bit of how we create our products and sell to the market before I talk specifically about BookTech. Now, we target a certain demographic, and we check what is needed, what is missing there, what is lacked in that environment, and we profile software solutions to that. We don't only just do that, we profile software solutions to corporate bodies, as many of them as would need our services. So one of the problems that we found when we looked is in Nigerian universities. Most of us who attended Nigerian universities can remember at a point in time receiving lecture notes for an exam that's coming up in 2 days' time. We can also remember spending pocket money on lecture notes when you have need for food. You can't eat the next night, but you have to print that lecture note. You have lack of accessibility to your lecturer. Lecturers have carefree attitude to work because the salary is no longer paying the bills. Another problem that we came across when we looked is the time-consuming and stressful procedures that you have to, as a woman in the current day society, undergo to get your hair done, your makeup done as well. You know, you're looking for authentic hair appendages, your wigs, your bone straight, but you end up having the fake, and you have to, as a vendor of these products, you have to pay a ridiculously high cost of rent, especially what I've experienced in Lagos. Worldwide reach for vendors is an issue because you have very little revenue and you can't spend it all on advertisements, on radio, on TV, on social media. You can do a bit of success on social media, but it's not enough. Another problem that we observed is insecurity. I'm sure that we all agree that we have a very poor level of security in Nigeria at this point in time, with a lot of bad news coming from the university environment recently. Unpredictability of our students. When you drop off your child at school, he's a young person. You might not know where he will end up wandering to and jeopardizing his security. We then profile solutions such as a software system on which all students and lecturers can be onboarded, and we can those students can have up-to-date lecture notes, monetary reward for lecturers to solve the problem of lackadaisical attitude to work, access up-to-date lecture notes for students. Pocket money will now remain pocket money. You have unlimited access to your lecturers because they're actually going to be paid for being online. Revenue for participating institutions, because most institutions, when you bring proposals to them, they will ask you, what is in it for us? So the second solution, which is for the second program, which I brought up, is an online marketplace where hair appendages and other beauty products can be made available. You can easily, as a working mother, as a politician, a lady in politics, that's what is being encouraged right now to have a change in the world. You can access those beauty products with ease just by tapping on your and swiping on your screen. Access to hairstylists from the comfort of your home, so you don't have to go and queue up in the hair salon while you are supposed to make a presentation at work tomorrow. More time with the kids and entire family. Global coverage for stylists, so you don't have to pay ridiculous amount for online advertisements. Solution 3, which is the one for insecurity for our Nigerian students, we have an internet-enabled biometric attendance monitoring system. Students and guardians will print on arrival at school gate, so we know that the student is in school now. Lecturers won't have to take time to start passing a piece of paper to write attendance. No, you can just print when you enter the lecture hall and do so when you're leaving. We can track your location just by you enabling your GPS on your mobile device, and we'll have routine check-ins on your device, so your parents will know on request where you are at every point in time. So this is the model that we operate on when we look for problems to solve and then capitalize on it to create revenue for our company. We have the ePrepare software, hair.net, and Balm. These are all ideas in the pipe waiting for execution. How far we have come. In 2016, we had an idea of a universal e-library for universities. And at that point in time, we realized that we couldn't do anything because we had nothing done. We had no digital skills. We had no programming skills of any sort. So what we did first of all was to get our company registered to let people know that, see, we are here for business. In 2018, we went into rigorous personnel development. We acquired skills. That's when we realized that you have to be a full stack developer. So we started acquiring HTML, CSS, SQL, JavaScript, jQuery, and getting ourselves prepared with PHP and others. In 2019, we landed our first biggest project with Marist College Yangoji, and that we had to develop a barcode security exit monitoring software for them. It's fully functional right now in Marist Yangoji. In 2020, our biggest yet project came up, and this is the best success we have recorded so far. Do Quick Itinerary Services Limited contacted us after getting referrals from someone we did a job for, and they decided that we create an integrated travel booking system for them. The system has been launched already. The software is on Google Play Store. The web app is online, and we are still working on it. Why now? Why do we need the funding that we need right now? We have been doing a whole lot of unsolicited proposals, and when people nod their head and say, yeah, this is a good idea, but where can we come and visit you? Where is your office? And we tell them we are only operational on the virtual space. This gives a bridge in trust between us and the client, and more often than not, we end up losing those projects. So at this point in time, Nigeria's tech market is ripe for the plugging, and we are ready to do our own quota, having weathered the storm till this point at this stage. So we started from almost zero in programming skills and some good business ideas, on a scale of 1 to 10. This is just how to picture how we have grown over time. The target market is all demographics, depending on the solution that we find to any problem that we detect. And so we want to go from Nigeria to West Africa, to the whole of Africa, and global in the future. There's nothing impossible. So this is how we model our projects to get down to the target population that we hope to service and make profit from. Now, we know there will be competition. Andela, Softcom, Tech Experts, Jumia, to mention but a few, they started from somewhere. And when they started, Google wasn't sleeping. Google is a global giant, a global tech giant that could have easily just crushed these people. But look at where they are. They are now in millions of naira and dollars worth in their revenue yearly. So we believe that we have the skills and we have what it takes. We have passion, we have focus, we have innovation, and most importantly, we have skill to execute those innovations. We are better because we'll be interacting with our users. Open field for promising talents. So we hope to start a program really soon where we'll be recruiting promising talents from the universities right into the program to work on projects and develop themselves. And we encourage unconventional innovations for disruptive solutions so that that thing which is hidden in the Nigerian students that people think are just lazy individuals will come out and be seen. Now, our competitive approach would simply be to be user and customer oriented, adopt unconventional innovation. So what people think is not the norm, we adopt it and see that it changes things. We work hand in hand with our users to ensure that we get feedback and build based on that. Our strategies to win over customers is through unsolicited proposals, which we have been doing so far, pro bono projects. So we do free of charge stuff for you, and we hope that in future you'll come back to us. Free trials on our products. We haven't implemented that on any of our products yet, but we hope to do that soon. When we provide lower prices for services that are standard when we offer it, and even better than what you have seen before, we are sure that you will come to us for more in the future. And we also hope to offer tailor-made solutions to any problems that our customers might be facing. Our business model is quite a dynamic one. We adopt anyone that is suited to any demographic and any population. We have tried demand aggregation, which is one of the very important one right now nowadays being adopted by tech companies.
If I may jump in, Jackson, if you could round up in about 30 seconds. Thank you.
The lowest prices, new inventions, modern franchise model, and tailor-made solutions. So here's the team. 3 individuals from Futo in 400 level came together, and we have built some projects, and we still are working, and we know we'll get there with what we need. So at this point in time, we need an office space so that we can have enough confidence to put out proposals. We need office equipment, and these things will be valued between 1.4 to 1.8 million naira. And our product marketing, we have intentionally decided not to put any cost on that because they are varying. It could be between 1.8 to 8 million to go into rigorous marketing of any product that is developed. And we believe when time comes, we'll be able to get investors regarding that. So if you want to learn more about us, our website is up, www.booktech.ltd. Thank you very much. And at this point in time, we'll entertain as much questions as you have for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Jackson, for that presentation. Now I yield the floor back to the judges.
Yeah, thank you, Jackson, for the interesting presentation. Edwin, Agbara. A few comments I want to make. First of all, you seem to be, while developing software solutions, you seem to be developing software, actively developing software across very different industries. Do you think it's possible for you to do all that at the same time? You're talking about one which is for women and hair. Do you have a team that understands what the right products are, what the right kind of vendors, the stylists are, and how to get the right people on that platform? The second thing is you're also talking about the software where you're developing for security on campus. One of my major concerns here would be issues like data privacy, because what you plan to do is also capture and store, fingerprint data and location data of students on an ongoing basis, which if you are not set up properly with the right kind of security on your backend, actually now expose those people to more risk. So do you think you're trying to do too much at the same time?
Thank you very much. Okay, so Dangote is not just working on sugar, it's in the energy industry as well. And this is not to say that we are trying to be like Dangote, we are trying to do what we know how to do. Let me take, for example, the...
Jackson, let me correct you a little. I think I have a little experience. I'll just addition to what Mr. Edwin is saying. Dangote actually started from somewhere, but with direction. In as much as you're coming to seek for investors to come in, and you want to use the money to do multiple business, I think me, I may not be comfortable. It's like jack of money, all trade, master of none. Dangote started from somewhere, he now moved, grow that business, he now move again to sugar, then to cement. So these are some of the things we also need to put in place. I think that's what Mr. Edwin is coming from. I don't know if I'm right, Mr. Edwin.
Yeah, share your sentiment. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you. When I mentioned those three software solutions that we have come up with, those software ideas, they have not yet been developed. Now, we have started from somewhere, and we are not going to be working on those projects simultaneously. At the moment, we are just 3 individuals. And even working on the Do Quick Itinerary Services project that we are on right now, we have to all come and be hands on deck and work together. And so this doesn't mean that we are doing the security software at the same time with the hair project. And we don't interact with the products ourselves. It's just like you having the online commercial websites where you get vendors and you get customers and you put them in the same room so that people can easily locate the cheapest products, the highest quality products at the convenience of their home and have access to this easily. So we do not intend to go into diverse fields at the same time. We have these ideas. If we roll out these projects one by one, seeing how each is performing, and that way generating revenue to access more talent to build the team. That way, as we expand as a team, we can have teams working simultaneously on different projects. So team A, 5 full stack developers working
Mr.
on...
Jackson, just a quick one, just because of time. I guess you sound like a pastor. If I give you more time, let me just throw my question up here. First is, my first question here, I needed to look at how you intend to generate revenue. And I didn't see your financial projection. If you can just throw more light there before so that we can just save our time.
Okay, so all I'm here for at this point in time is to seek for revenue for our office space, because that is the major challenge that we've had over the years. Where is your office so that we can come and visit you? And so when we check and we cannot...
Sorry, Mr. Jackson, I think you don't understand my question. I wanted to just understand how you intend to generate revenue, because I'm putting money into this business. I need to understand how you intend to make money. And my next part is your financial projection. I need to just see like 3 years, your model. I want to look at your projection for 3 years, 5 years, and then I'll now know that, okay, if I put 1 million naira in this business, I can get this, because this business, I'm trying to get to a particular direction on how this business is going. I'm a software developer. I have good understanding in software development. So now you have 3 products in mind, and you know that everybody in Nigerians are hustlers, and while you're thinking, others are already developing. So you need to also put that into play. So I need to know your revenue, and if we bring this money, how much will be realizing at the end of the year, at the end of the month. So these are some of the things I need.
Okay, I'm going to take one of the projects, the security project. Now, for any school that signs up, the school could have up to 25,000 students. I'm just estimating. Now, each student will be compelled to pay 1,000 naira to register. Now, when this 1,000 naira is registered, the school, based on our agreement, would either take 20%, which is what is currently our rate, a 20% off of that 1,000 naira. So the remaining 700 naira from each student will go back to BookTech. But then we'll reserve 50% of this 700 naira, which is 350 for lecturer participation reward. So at the end of the day, we'll be left with 350 naira per student. So when we put that, project that across 25,000 students, we will come up with about 8.7 million per year. So this registration is done per year. So just for that project alone, we hope to generate up to 8.7 million in a year from one university. Now, if we have multiple universities signed up on this particular project, let's say 10, that's about 87 million naira per year. So this, as it continues to grow.
Sorry to jump in. When you generate 8.7 million naira is per year, so you said 350 naira reserved for the lecturer. So it means that you're going to generate 8.7 million naira for all the lecturers in the university. So how do you plan to share it? I can't imagine the university will have less than 100 lecturers.
Yeah, I think I agree
So
with you. I do agree with you. Yeah.
Yes. So we are not paying lecturers. This is what we do. This is why in the first place, we are bringing out that revenue to encourage lecturer participation. If in the first place we have a sign-up agreement, in the agreement, the school is going to enforce this upon every lecturer who carries out lectures. So it is already a rule that you must upload your lecture notes on this platform. But then how do we encourage them to actually engage? Because we need students.
Sorry, Mr. Jackson, sorry, let me come again. In terms of 25 is not a realistic number. I need to tell you the truth. Okay, let's use your case, Futo. If you look at statistics, 85% of the lecturers in Futo they are not internet friendly. Now, how do I upload my material where most of them are finding it difficult to join an online platform? Most of them don't have email addresses. So I'm trying to see that 25,000 is really not a base case. Now, my question here is this: now, do you have any product that's currently running, and what's the revenue like for a month?
Okay, currently we have just been running projects for clients who websites that we ran recently. The current Do Quick itinerary services, we have a profit sharing of 20% on each fund that comes in from each customer. So we put 150 naira charge on each booking done by each customer. So we are gaining 30 naira from each booking by the time this project kicks off fully. I can share the website if you would like to visit. So we gain 30 naira.
Sorry to cut you there, Vincent. So currently the customers that you're working with, are they universities or are they private lecturers? How can we do that benchmarking?
No, I'm currently talking about a different project which is currently on. That was the previous question. He wants to know what we are currently seeing from current running projects that we have carried out. So if you pardon me, I'll finish.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what I was saying is we have 30 naira on each of the bookings done. So if we have 100 bookings done in a day, that's 3,000 naira. But we know that more than 1,000 people travel in Lagos, from Lagos out to other states in Nigeria in one single day. This means that, I mean, the revenue that we can make in a day from just 30 naira on each travel booking is going to grow massively by the time this system is fully working and across the 36 states of the Federation. This means that if we have 100,000 people do a travel booking on Do Quick website in one day, then we will be able to gain about 3 million naira in revenue from one booking. So currently, that is the only constantly generating project that we have. Others were just a website that we developed and the software that we developed on a one-off agreement project model.
Okay, but you should have projections then. Can we move on to another question, please?
Yeah, I have a question. Sorry, Adrian. I just want to ask, I know a lot of the judges were really alluding to saying, which project are you going to start with? So for example, now as an investor, I'm sitting and I'm interested in actually investing in the hair product or the hair project that you want to launch. I want to start booking hairstylists, but that's currently something that you're not offering. But then it's a bit of a challenge because I don't have the timeline to see if you are planning on pushing that project in the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, if you're thinking about it now, what is the estimated time frame of kicking off each project, as to allow investors to be able to identify projects that they can actually then start investing in?
Okay, thank you very much. So we intend to commence with the BALM project, which is the security system project, because we're passionate about the university environments where we started up. So for a project as massive as that to have a web application and a mobile application, it could development could span up to periods of 6 months. So for us to have a fully developed system with a third-party API functional, it could take us up to a period of 6 months, and we do not need any funds. I mean, we have the skills to develop the system. Where the capital is required is in marketing. And at this point in time, since we haven't decided to run those, these are just documented ideas that we have on the Do Quick, should I say, archives to run in the future when we have all plans ready. So at this point in time, all we need is a comfortable launching pad, an office environment, which is equipped with, because that's really our major challenge with computers that we can use to work at this point in time. So each of those projects will kick off as soon as we are able to establish a working space whereby we'll now be able to plan on how to execute and generate partnerships that will fund the projects.
Okay, sorry, one last question for me. You know, considering everyone's talking about shift to remote working, do you think that using this money that we're investing at this point to get an office space, do you think that it's the right direction you should be heading to?
Okay, so the reason why this is, at this point in time, the most important that we believe is because we have faced too much challenges. Stanley lives in Port Harcourt, Alex lives in Abuja, I live in Lagos. When we started the Do Quick project, we realized that this thing is going to be difficult because we have to be in the same place to work. And at this point in time, we work from my house. So the problem is not just being able to work from our, I mean, we can develop softwares from a living room. However, clients want to know that they can come and visit you from which is something that we've faced too much, and we've lost too many projects because of that. So we want to solve that problem using this particular pitch, so that then we can now have a comfortable office environment that's more professional, that we can actually work and do so effectively.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, please, just a final question from my end. I feel you didn't outline exactly what you really need. So you see the other investors are just confused on what they are coming into and what's your needs in terms of the money you are trying to raise for investing in your business. I know you know of a software called Git, GIT, where all the developers can develop, and we use Git now to compile and set up this application. And secondly, we have a process we call it co-office. So if you need things like that, you need to first of all look at what do you have on ground, what have you been able to set up, your projection, and how much you need currently. There's no clear vision of this whole vision you're trying to propose in this startup business you're pushing. We just know that you have a product, I can develop this, a lot of developers. If you're a web developer, let's define a web developer. A mobile developer, let's know that you're a mobile developer. We know that we're investing in setting up a mobile application, we're investing in this. So you need to get a clear vision. I'm interested in this, your business, but I need to understand. I'm a software developer too. I understand the basis of this item you're coming up with. But let's get a good vision of it. Thank you.
I agree with you there, Bruno. Share the same sentiment.
Okay. All right. So Yeah, so thank you so much, Jackson, for that business pitch. One thing I'd like to highlight here is that this business pitch, the prizes are not the only, benefits that you would get from pitching your idea. The judges are also available as mentors to help you through your business plan and basically ensuring that you have success through their coaching and mentorship. We've really spent some time, but I must tell you that it has been time well spent, and you will agree with me. But then I still do apologize for taking us way over the scheduled time. But we've had quite an impactful session, starting off with the keynotes address by Dr. Miriam, and then going on to the various presentations cutting across technology, being financially stable. Well, we learned it's not just about being financially stable. You have to be very specific on what you intend to achieve financially. And then we went on to how we can thrive in a post-pandemic world using problem solving skills and design thinking. And then we've also heard basically a practical demonstration of all that we've sort of heard today based on using the pitches from our various presenters. And I must tell you, it's not easy to come up here and present your business ideas. So I would say well done to all the pitches. You're all winners. But I hope that from the questions that you've been asked today, you can use that as a food for thought to see how best you can restructure your businesses or your ideas to ensure that you have success. Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, we will now go into knowing who has won the first prize seed money for this business pitch competition, and then we'll carry on with the rest of the prizes as well. So maybe I will hand over to uh, Chooks. Is that yourself or Miss Tura that would be sharing the screen so we know who exactly has
Okay,
won
it's
this?
fine. I'll share
Okay.
my screen. This is Kerry. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Kerry. And I will yield the floor to one of our judges because I think it's an honor for them to be the ones to announce the winners and basically tell us how they have gone through the entire judging criteria. So I will hand over to Mr. Edwin, who will take us through on the judging criteria and, of course, give him the privilege to announce the various winners. So thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So thank you for the opportunity to judge the competition. This competition was judged across different criteria. One of them was the value proposition that the business brings. How clear and concise is business? Is there an opportunity? The organization of the company. Who are the people in the company? Do they understand what is required to run a business? The economics of the business idea. What kind of revenue do they plan to make? Can the business cover its expenses? And also, what are the growth potentials for that business? Do you have a minimum viable product? What are the key milestones that you can achieve? And can you actually achieve growth and sustain growth for the business? And so, it was weighted and all the numbers were taken from Pringle Legbe, Boitumelo, and myself, and then we arrived at the final score. In third place is Chinoyelum with a score of 50.25%. Second place is Jackson Ogbonna with a score of 59.83%. And the winner of the seed money, or the winner of the competition today is Chinedu Nwosu. So thank you very much, everyone.
Okay, thank you so much, Edwin, for that wonderful announcement, and also for offering, from what I hear, to help our peaches basically grow their business from a mentorship perspective. Thank you so much to all the other judges for your time and giving of yourself to even give specific tips and feedback to our peaches for today. So thank you. So we're drawing close to the end of the session. See, we've taken 30 minutes of extra time in this session. My apologies for that. Without wasting much time again, I would like to introduce a lady that I respect so much, someone that I have had the opportunity to work with quite closely since joining SPE Lagos board, and who has also basically broken all barriers and shown us that indeed that there's a place for women in leadership, and not just place for women in leadership, a place for young personalities in leadership. So without much further ado, I'd like to welcome Mrs. Ogogo Effion, popularly known as OG, who is our incoming SP African Regional Director, and she'll be giving us the closing remarks. It's good to have you, OG. The floor is yours.
Okay, please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. This has been a riveting event, to put it mildly. So I know I was coming in at the very end, and I said to myself that perhaps, I'll just, breeze in and breeze out and just, say a few words. But since I've dialed in, I haven't been able to do anything else. I've just been really focused on what has transpired in this YP forum today. The YP forum and the YPs in general are a demographic that I'm really very passionate about. And again, you can understand my reason why. Just look at the 3 pitches that we just heard. I can imagine it must have been difficult for the judges to make the decisions that they did, because all this, if I could afford it, I would fund all those, different business ideas. It's really that amazing. I think Nigeria really is replete, Africa really is replete with a lot of talent. It's just for us to begin to harness them. And I want to just thank the speakers. Each of them had something that I could hold on to. I'm not going to recap what I heard, but each of them had something I could hold on to and something I could learn from. Tomi Balogun is someone who I follow on Instagram, and I've listened to almost all her podcasts. I listen to her all the time. And it was great to hear from GB, from Miriam and Ibrahim. This has been a really, really wonderful event. I can only imagine how much fun it would have been had we been able to meet to do this physically. But of course, being online also means that we've been able to get people that maybe ordinarily would have had a challenge being together in the same place. So I want to thank everyone for keeping up with us, for staying with us for this long, and of course, for your time, for your energy, for your questions. And I just want to say thank you and have a wonderful rest of the weekend.
All right, thank you so much, Oji, and thank you, everyone. Please, let's stay safe. Let's stay vigilant and enjoy. Thank you.